Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turning Stones podcast, a special exclusive interview with Anton Pogas. Anton, welcome to the podcast.
G'day, mate. How are you? Good.
Good, thanks yourself.
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Well, much better than past few days, that's for sure.
That's all right. That's good to hear. So I guess before we get started and we, divulge what the particular topic we're on about today, just maybe inform the stoners as to how we know each other and just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so we know each other from footy. Both played footy, both played footy at Virginia. We've probably known each other, probably 10 years now, nearly, I'd say.
Probably more.
Close to that, around there. Family, friends. Both know each other from Virginia. Both went to the same school. So, probably well more than 10 years now. Jeez. I've caught the vid.
So you're COVID positive?
COVID positive. Tested COVID positive on Thursday. Well, tested on Thursday. Results on Saturday afternoon. That's another topic for a bit later.
Yeah,
but
I think we'll talk about it a bit later. So obviously you're COVID positive, and sorry to hear because obviously that's not great. No one wants to have a disease like that, especially during a pandemic. But first and foremost, how did you know that you need to get tested? Did you have any symptoms? Like, what were your first thoughts? And I guess since you got tested on Thursday, so I'm guessing you would have had COVID by then.
Yeah.
The Tuesday and the Wednesday leading up to that Thursday, can you just, play that out for us?
So on Boxing Day, I had a few blokes around my house for a bit of a party.
Yep.
And then the
couple of cordials.
A couple of red cordials, a few drinks, couple of red cordials, right? A few
Nice.
waters. And then on the Monday, the day after, I had a wine tour. And a few people on that wine tour, I mean, they weren't sick, but there was coughing here, coughing there. And I'm like, people cough every now and then. It is what it is. And then the Tuesday
could have been the hangover from Boxing Day.
The hangover, exactly that. Anyway, the Tuesday came along and I did nothing, sat in bed, did nothing.
Yep.
When Wednesday came along, I felt fine, no dramas, no whatever.
So Tuesday you were fine?
Tuesday fine, perfect, 100%. Wednesday came along and I woke up and I was like, surely it's not still a hangover. Felt a bit rough, but nothing too bad, just had a bit of a cough. Anyway, about Wednesday, and by this time, forgot to mention, by this time, one bloke from the Boxing Day party had tested positive.
Oh, wow.
All right, so, and he in our group, and
yes.
Pretty close friends, and we were there for 10 hours, so we were together for a long time.
Yep.
Anyway, so he had tested positive by this stage. So I said to my work, one of my people who I was with on Sunday has tested positive to COVID. What's going on? And they're like, no, well, since you're not really a close contact, you'll be fine. I said, no worries. This was about 12 o'clock. And at about 2 o'clock, I pretty much all of a sudden was like coughing flat out.
Yep.
I had sweats big time. I felt like I was 50 degrees, man.
Far out.
Like literally from out of nowhere. It was sweats. I was coughing big time. And I stood up and I said to the boss, look, man, I got to go because I don't feel good at all. I felt like I wanted to vomit. I was no good at all.
Are you in an enclosed office at your work?
Yeah, so we're not an enclosed office, but we sit in an office, we sit in a room, but not enclosed, right? So I said to him, look, I got to go. And then I got a message again from one of the other guys in our group. I'm COVID positive also. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And that pretty much to me was like, well, now you're positive because I had all the symptoms that you supposedly have. And apart from the loss of smell and apart from the loss of taste, I had everything you could have.
Okay. So what was your temperature? Were you hot or shivering?
I didn't get it, but I was boiling, boiling. I mean, it was a hot day, but I was fine in the morning. And then at that as soon as I think it was like 2:00. Oh, I was a mess, like terrible. Anyway,
and so the coughing started obviously a little bit earlier than all those other symptoms.
Coughing started in the morning, but I just thought, well, I slept with the aircon on that night, so I thought, I don't know, maybe I've got a cough.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I left work and I rang the Adelaide airport, and they go, oh yeah, it's about an hour away.
Yep.
So, no worries, beautiful. Mate of mine, like another bloke in the group, says, I'll meet you at the Adelaide airport. We'll go there, we'll get tested. No worries. Anyway, 5.5 hours later, so I got there at 4:00.
Yep.
9:30, so it closes at 11, mind you.
Yes.
9:30 they come around, and I got told an hour wait on the phone 20 minutes before that.
Far out.
9:30 comes along, because when I got there, I said, oh wow, there's a lot of people here for an hour wait.
Yeah.
And the lady goes, yeah, it's about a 4-hour wait, and I was like, what?
Told you an hour on the phone.
Someone just told me an hour on the phone, like 20
Why
minutes.
Why did you ring? Why did you ask? I go. Why did you go to Adelaide Airport out of all of them?
Well, because that's apparently the quickest one.
Okay.
Supposedly, but well, clearly that's a load of shit.
If that's the quickest one, we got some problems here.
Yeah. And it was 3:30, and all these testing sites close at 4:30, most of them. Which,
good point.
I don't understand, because it's such a deadly virus.
Yes.
And people can't even get tested. But anyway, so it comes to 9:30, and they go. It was about 6 people in front of us and about probably 20 people behind them. And they go to the 6 people in front of us, look, we have to close. We don't think we'll see you tonight. And I was like,
are they serious?
How can you tell someone an hour wait on the phone, make them wait for 4.5 hours, or 5.5 hours, sorry.
Yeah.
And go, oh, no, we can't see you. And by this stage, mind you, I'm coughing over everyone. I'm like, well, not
were you
over
showing
everyone.
More symptoms than a lot of other people in the sign in the line?
Every single person was turning to me going, can you, like clearly you've got it. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. That's why I'm trying to get tested.
Yes.
I was coughing. I said to the bloke that was lining up next to me, I'm sweating. Like, he was like, wow, you look terrible. Anyway, so we had to leave, and we got up again at 6 a.m. in the morning.
So you went home that night. So let me just get this straight here. Yeah. You rang up to go to the Adelaide airport. You rang up SA Health or whoever it would have been and said, how long's the line at the airport? An hour. You would have been like, yep, beauty, love it.
Beautiful. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Considering how farcical
the wait times.
Yeah. Went there, then it was 4 hours. You waited 4 hours, as that lady said.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she says, no, we can't serve you. We're probably only going to get the few people in front of you, and then you have to go home.
Waited 5.5.
So 5.5.
Got there at 4.
Yeah.
Around 4-ish. And at 9:30, we got told, nah, we can't see you. And I was like,
okay, so then you went home after that, 5.5 hours, which is ridiculous, without even getting a test. Then you went home.
Without getting a test, yeah.
At this point, you would have been 100% COVID positive. You went home. Basically, did you drive there yourself?
Yeah, so drove home, right? Yep. Come home. Obviously, my 2 housemates are here, so I live with 2 people. 2 housemates are here. Like, pretty much went straight to bed, but had a conversation with them. Well, not knowing, but showing, I guess, showing all the symptoms possible.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, pretty much get the fuck away from me. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm just telling you that I just waited for fucking 5 hours for nothing.
Yes.
So yeah, went to bed and was honestly I didn't sleep at all well that night. Like, I was so sore. My whole body was like, you know when you get a cold and your whole body aches?
Yeah, 100%.
And like, you shiver all night, and then you're sweating and you shiver and you're coughing, and I had everything.
Just lethargic.
Just literally had everything.
Yep.
Anyway, so my alarm went off at 6. I went with the same guy again to the Gawler one. And this is where it gets interesting, because I know now that I'm positive, right? I'm about 95% sure that I'm positive.
So when you woke up the next day, so this is Wednesday, you went to the airport, waited 5.5 hours, didn't work. So the Thursday morning, you woke up at 6 a.m., went to Gawler. Mm-hmm. On Thursday, were you feeling just as bad as Wednesday?
Worse. I was worse.
Worse.
I was worse.
Oh, fuck.
Now, I was standing there in line, hunched over. like sore as, like hunched over, and literally everyone is looking around at me going, "Wow, man, like you are not good." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I just want to get tested, so I'm 100% sure."
Surely,
You know what I mean?
when you got someone so clearly evident that they have something wrong with them, there should be an express line for two reasons: because
Yeah.
they need it more than anyone else, and second of all, fucking you could drop and faint or drop dead any given
Well,
point in time.
mind you, it's a 37-degree day also,
Yeah.
Terry. So it wasn't exactly cold out there,
Yes.
right? And like I'm sweating profusely at this stage.
Yep.
Anyway, so they try and tell you that we need to socially distance in line, right? Which doesn't happen at all.
No.
So you get into this tent, and I'm standing next to these people for I think I was there for 3 hours in the end. For 3 hours, being positive.
Yeah.
This is the part I don't understand. How can they say that it's such a deadly virus and whatever they're saying, but yet you line up with people standing not even close to 1.5, standing
Yeah.
right next to them, and it be okay.
That I've actually
I've
had the same thought when I got tested. So I was interstate a few weeks ago. Right? I was in Melbourne, and back then the rules were before you came back into SA, you had to get a test 72 hours before your flight, a negative test result for you to fly back. When I was in line, I just thought in my head, I'm like, imagine I get COVID in line, because there was this old lady who was sitting down. She looked like she was shivering, and I'm like, but she was a few people in front of me, but I'm like, yeah, I don't know how this fucking virus operates. But anyway, I know it's through the air and stuff, but I mean, some weird things can happen. I'm like, I'm feeling, fine and dandy. And by the way, the Melbourne testing system or the Victorian testing system, I was in and out within 25 minutes. Unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly.
Compared to here. Anyway, so I'm just thinking, I'm dealing with potentially sick, infected people, because I'm guessing, hopefully, that's a lot of the people that are going to get tested, unless they have to for work or whatever, are probably sick. And I'm here just having to show a negative result just for the satisfaction of the state, whereas it should be reserved for sick people. I'm thinking, imagine I get sick in this line. And a lot of people would have been thinking the same thing, being around someone like you, coughing, hunched over, not looking great at all, thinking, I actually wouldn't want to be in the same line you are.
No, and everyone was turning around going like, pretty much without saying it, can you stop coughing? And I'm like, well, no, I can't. Because
yes.
I'm 95% sure that I'm positive. So
did you ask, can I skip the line to get to obviously leave you guys?
I said to one of the ladies, I'm like, look, I'm showing all the symptoms possible.
Yeah.
Can I just go and get tested so I don't actually sit around these people and potentially, who knows, spread it in the line?
Yeah.
Because you stand next to all these people for 3-4 hours.
That's right.
And she was like, well, no, unfortunately, because you're not priority, we can't. And I'm like, how could I not be priority?
Well, who's priority then? Healthcare workers.
The healthcare workers and things like that.
But shouldn't the sick, those that are actually showing symptoms, be in a priority as well? Oh my goodness.
It didn't make any sense. And another thing, the night before, right, they at the airport, I was like, so why are you like sending us away? And how come the line has just stopped moving all of a sudden? And they're like, oh, we had to send other people to Victoria Park because they're busy. I'm like, wow. What do you mean they're busy? I understand they're busy, but so are you.
That's right.
And they're like, yeah, we've just run out of staff. Okay, no worries. So I'll just go home and wait an extra 12 hours to get tested, knowing that I'm potentially positive. Nah, all good, no worries.
And potentially spread it to more people, because, knowing you, like I know you personally, but like say, and the state doesn't know you though. Shouldn't they be fearful that you might go home, just be reckless, maybe pass through Macca's, get yourself a burger, go home,
exactly,
have dinner with either your family or your housemates, and then you're actually spreading it even more. Whereas if you actually had got the test result, you would have just been under that obligation to go home and quarantine to get that result.
And how do they know? Exactly. How do they know that I'm just going to go, oh, yeah, no, because she said, oh, you better go home. I'm like, how do you know I'm just going to go home?
Yeah.
How do you know I'm not going to the pub?
You could be like that tripper that's gone to Loverboy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do they know? That like, And then they wonder why people do that though, because we've just lined up for 5 hours of our lives.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't do that, but someone might have it and not show the symptoms. You never know.
That's right.
And then go, well, stuff it. I've just lined up for 5 hours. I'm starving, mind you. I'm going to go to the pub for dinner.
That's right.
You know, like the system is ridiculous.
It's flawed. So
ridiculous.
Wednesday, 5.5 hours with no test.
Yeah.
Thursday, you waited 3 hours and you finally got in.
Finally got tested, out of there. Instructions, go home. And like even the lady in the testing centre, she was like, well, you're positive. Before I even said anything, she was like, well, you're positive. And I'm like, well, yeah, I know that. So can you just... And I said to her, I felt like saying to her, well, why did you just make me line up for 3 hours then? She's literally just looked at me and gone, well, you're positive. I'm like, yeah, well, I know. So...
All right. So, and I know after speaking to you before the recording of this podcast, I know it actually gets worse, like with the information you're about to tell me. But just before we get there, have you had a PCR test before this?
Yeah. So I've had 3 now.
Okay.
So 4. This is my 4th one.
All right. And before you play out the next few days leading up to your result, when are you meant to get tested again to know if you've got negative? Like,
so this might be the worst bit. You're not.
So what, they just tell you get tested when you feel better?
No, you don't have to get tested again. They tell you. So I'll get there. Let me get there.
All right, keep the story going. Keep the story going.
So anyway, obviously I've been tested Thursday. I come home and literally I don't think I left bed. I did not leave bed on Thursday at all because I was fucked, to be honest.
Would you feel it like? Could you eat? Could you drink? Like
so the only symptoms that I didn't lose, thankfully, are my smell and my taste.
Yep.
So thankfully I haven't lost them, but I wasn't hungry. I was tired. I just slept 8 hours, 9 hours or whatever it was. I got home and I slept like all day. I didn't leave my bed all day Thursday.
Yep.
And then Friday morning, woke up, had a bit of breakfast, and then straight back to bed. But at this stage, all Thursday, my body was just aching flat out.
Yes.
Like big time. Friday morning, woke up, felt a fair bit better. So I'm only, from starting to show symptoms, I'm only really,
3 days?
Nah, not even. Wednesday afternoon to Friday morning, not even. A day and a half.
Good point. 36 hours.
Yeah, so 36 hours and I'm starting to feel better already.
Yep.
And yeah, so I got up. Really, at this stage, the cough is still very prominent. And the nose, my nose was still running a fair bit. But really, it was only them two and tiredness. I was very tired. Very, buggered, to be honest.
Considering all the amount of sleep that you actually tried catching up on. Yeah. Do you reckon that some of these symptoms could have been brought on because of, obviously, the Boxing Day, the wine tour, a few late nights? Do you reckon that could have contributed, do you think?
Oh, 100%. I personally think also if I hadn't pretty much been on a 3-day bender before that, with Christmas Day, obviously, before Boxing Day.
Yep.
I don't reckon I'd be bad at all.
You might just be asymptomatic, which means you're not showing symptoms, but potentially could still be positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people are. A lot. Like a lot of people. I know people on Instagram that have just got a cough and they've got COVID. Like, that's ridiculous.
Isn't it funny now, and you obviously copping a bit of flack in the line, that because you're coughing, people are like, can you not do it? Or they're showing body language that they didn't want you doing it. Before the pandemic started, people had a cough. Yep, no worries. Sometimes you're like, don't fucking cough in my face, like cover your mouth at least. But like, you didn't give a shit. Now, it's like, honestly, when I'm at work, because I work in an office, I actually try and not cough. Like, even sneezing too. I try to hold, because I know there's some sensitive people there that are going to get real funny about it. I'm like, fuck, it's just.
People were looking and exactly what you said. Their body language without saying don't cough was, can you stop coughing? And I'm like, well, no, I can't because I'm actually really struggling here to be honest.
That's right. Well, I mean, you're all masked up, I presume.
Oh, yeah. No, you had to be. Well, I mean, you had to be, but there was people rolling around with no masks, just doing what they want, and I'm like, what is going on? This virus is supposed to be so bad and so like contagious, but you're rolling around with no mask, no nothing. It just makes no sense.
It's funny how you look to your left and then there's people just roaming around with singlet and shorts and thongs with no mask, nothing. And then on the other side, you see hazmat suits in like the PCR tents. You're like, kind of world are we living in here? Like, is it that bad? Is it that deadly? I got no idea. I mean, that's why you're on the podcast today. And thank you for taking the time, by the way. It's because I still have not met or known or contacted or even spoken to someone that's actually been COVID positive. I've heard heaps of I've seen a lot of YouTube videos. You hear lots about it on the news, on all these forms of social media. You see all this crap. But now finally, someone I know, someone that's got it, someone that's had the symptoms, you can finally say your piece. And of course, this is a bit of a dig at SA Health, but I don't think there's too many people happy with them anyway. And I mean,
there's not at all. 7
times. The first 5 times were fine. This is before all the shit at the fan. This is pre-Omicron days. But the last 2 times, pretty pissed off, not only in regards to the testing, but and the waiting times. And I haven't waited any more than an hour in all my 7 times. I've been very lucky, but I've just like the last 2 tests, I've noticed the turnaround time's been ridiculous because people got to get on with their lives. Like if I'm negative, let me know as soon as you can, because then I can go back to living life. If I'm positive, same thing. Try and do it as soon as you can. Because
as soon as you can.
Anyway, so that after your Thursday test, you obviously slept all of Thursday. Friday a bit better, but then went back to bed.
Friday a bit better.
Keep the timeline. Keep the timeline going.
We're now nearly 48 hours.
And Friday is New Year's Eve, by the way.
Friday's New Year's Eve, correct.
So that sucks.
Luckily, I knew I was positive.
Yep.
Right? The bloke I was with didn't. Had no idea. He didn't think he was positive anyway. Keep in mind, Terry, that we've now lined up together for a total being much less than 1.5, talking like everything pretty much for probably about 8 hours altogether.
Yes.
8 hours altogether, about this close the whole time.
Shared a car as well?
Shared the car, shared everything pretty much.
Yep.
Anyway, so we didn't get our results. We're now into Saturday. We've now missed New Year's Eve. He's now missed
Happy
New
New
Year's
Year,
Eve.
by the way.
Yeah, Happy New Year to everyone, by the way. He's now missed New Year's Eve.
Fuck.
I still haven't got my results. Luckily, I knew I was positive, so I mean, it didn't affect me at all because I knew I was going to be in isolation anyway. It's now Saturday lunchtime. The guy I was with rings SA Health and goes, "What is going on?" Like we're now at 52. I think it was 50. So we got tested at about 10 o'clock on Thursday.
Yes.
Thursday. So it's now 52 hours.
Far out.
52 hours of waiting, and they say, "Oh, sorry, I think we've stuffed up your testing. We just need to test them again."
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean you need to test them again? What does that even mean?
Yes.
I don't even know what that means.
That's a bad response. I think personally, so I've got a friend that's a scientist, and he reckons that any test that comes back positive, they'll test it again just to confirm the data, just to check. So I think that their communication's probably way off and incorrect. Maybe they didn't stuff up your testing. Maybe because it was positive, they just wanted to double check. But the guy or the lady, whoever you spoke to, has no fucking idea how to communicate to another person.
So even if they didn't stuff up our test, you don't tell someone who is waiting on their results, sorry, we stuffed up your tests. We need to test again.
That's unbelievable.
That is unbelievable response from a health professional.
Well, from our health professionals, the leading health professionals in the state, a governing organisation as well, mind you. There's no one higher than that in our state to govern the rules.
It was.
These guys are the rule setters and makers.
It was. And mind you, he'd waited on hold for 2 hours.
Oh no!
To be told, oh sorry, we need to test your test again. We stuffed up your test.
So actually, like, we can add that to the waiting time. So 5.5 hours at the airport, 3 hours in Gawler. That's 8.5.
That's
plus
8.5.
2 hours plus 2 hours on the phone.
So
that's 10.5 hours of waiting.
Of waiting time, right? Let alone, finally, we got our results at, I think it was 6 o'clock Saturday night.
Far out.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Cough if you need.
6 o'clock Saturday night, we finally got our results. Now, keep in mind, as I said before, we have sat together, been together for 8 hours straight.
Yep.
Mine comes back positive. Obviously, I knew that was happening. No dramas. It is what it is.
Did you message him straight away?
Messaged him straight away because we were in constant communication. Hey, mate, have you got results? Hey, mate, what's going on? Like, what is happening? It's now 57 hours we ended up waiting for results.
Ridiculous.
Anyway, his comes back negative.
Wow.
So can you tell me how this virus spreads? Because I don't understand anymore. I don't understand.
That's crazy. So you know what's funny as well? He's actually, according to the law, technically not a close contact because it's after someone's tested COVID positive if you've been around them. Then you're a close contact. But yet you knew you had it and he's been around you for so many hours and closer to 1.5. Yeah, same car, 1.5 closer than that probably, and doesn't have it.
And doesn't have it.
Was he vaxxed?
Sharing, listen, this is the beauty. Sharing the same drink bottle. Sharing the same drink bottle. Still doesn't have it. That I don't understand.
That's unbelievable.
It doesn't make any sense in my head. We were literally sharing the same drink bottle for 8 hours, and he doesn't have it.
He wasn't showing the symptoms you were?
Oh, he reckons he had a cough. That's it.
Oh.
But how can he not have it? If this is such a contagious disease, how can he not have it?
Did he feel any worse than a cough at any point in time?
No, he didn't. But what my point is, Terry, how else does it possibly spread if it doesn't spread through saliva?
Well, they're saying it's a respiratory illness, so it travels through the air, and obviously those respiratory droplets, either sneezing or the coughing or the saliva, as you said. That's as far as we know how it spreads. So through the air, unless for some reason he just got lucky and was never breathing when he was looking at you and just quickly taking breaths that way or something like that. I don't bloody know.
So then, right? So he tests negative and I test positive. So by this time, 5 of us from Boxing Day, mind you, there was 29 people there. Yep. They were just under the limit. Only 5 of us has tested positive. Even more interesting, only the double vaxxed have tested positive.
How many unvaxxed were at this gathering?
Oh, there was a few. There's a fair few, and
seems like this is a super spreader event, mate.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty close. But none of them, right? None of them have tested positive to COVID. None of the non-vaxxed have tested positive. So,
can I just ask, as like being a mini investigator here, any of the 5 of you that have got COVID from this Boxing Day event, were you closer than 1 meter, hugging, kissing, something like that?
Maybe not kissing, but yeah, hugging, sharing drink. Like everyone was sharing drinks the whole time.
Yep.
Pretty much. We were playing beer pong. Like, yeah, actually, if I don't understand how it spreads if it didn't spread that day. I don't get it.
Was it an outdoor party?
Yeah, but still.
And 5 people, that's a lot.
5 people out of 30 is a lot.
That's 1 in 6 people copping it.
It is. But I don't understand how if it's not 20.
Yeah.
Like, how can it not be spread? Because we were there from 12 o'clock till 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, we couldn't spend much more time together.
That's a long time. And obviously, getting into contact with each other, sharing drinks. That really, on the face of it, on paper, that sounds like a COVID spreading event, really.
That's what it sounds like to me. But and how it was like in the same pool. For all we know, we were drinking the same pool water, man. Like, but my fascinating point is the double vaxxed all got it. Well, 5 of them got it who tested. Everyone who tested who's non-vaxxed, nah, fine, no dramas.
So has everyone at that party been tested?
I think there's only like 2 people that haven't.
Okay, and they're fine though.
But they're not sick, yeah. So they just were like, well, no, don't worry about it.
Yeah, there you go.
So
yeah.
So you tell me the benefits of this vax, because
they're always saying. See, I think that's the misconception is that the vaccine, and I'm not a doctor by the way, but the vaccine doesn't stop you from getting it. It just reduces your likelihood of going to hospital. That's the bottom line of the vaccine. This vaccine ain't a bloody cure. Ain't going to stop you from getting it, clearly, because like you're looking at all the case numbers, and because so many people are vaccinated, majority of those case numbers are always going to be vaccinated people, because you look at the populations around the country, 85 to 90% are vaccinated. So of course, the majority of the numbers are going to be vaxxed people. It's just, I mean, how you get it, I mean, that's a mysterious question, Anton. I mean,
it is.
You can get a doctor to tell us, but then you've obviously firsthand witnessed an event where some people got it and some didn't.
And some didn't. But we were sharing everything. We were together. We were everything that they've told us not to do if someone's got it potentially.
Yep.
That's what we were doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, we didn't know no one had it, obviously.
Yeah.
But if it turns out 5 people have got it from there, how do not many more people have it? I can't work it out. I cannot work out how this spreads.
And because you said that pretty much majority bar 2 have gotten tested since this Boxing Day party, and only 5 have come up positive, because I said if only like say 10 of you only got tested, well then maybe there was probably still more cases.
Yeah.
And maybe some were asymptomatic, meaning that they're showing no symptoms but could still be positive, because that's a big thing. A lot of the people that are testing positive aren't showing hardly anything, maybe a little slight cough, but still coming up positive. So very mysterious. I'm with you on that. I got no idea. I'm vaccinated. You're vaccinated. I haven't gotten COVID, but you obviously are positive currently at this point in time. And I guess, so that's Saturday night. You tested positive. I'm sure you've had to advise some more family and friends about it. And obviously it's not
so I've
share,
obviously
especially starting 2022. It's not what you want. Obviously, ended 21 on a pretty big high and ended it with a bang. But starting 22, a bit more mellow. A bit more tame, but that's all right. I mean, look, put it this way. It's good to see you, and obviously we've got FaceTime happening at the moment. It's good to see your face. You look fine. Doesn't look like you've copped anything. You just sound a bit nasally. You're obviously coughing here and there, but apart from that, you seem pretty good, and you're in good spirits, having a laugh. And
well, yeah, I woke up this morning, and to be honest, Terry, I feel fine.
And so,
I mean, and that's only from symptoms showing. That's only 2.5 days, 3 days, sorry.
So you found out you had COVID last night.
Yeah. So I found out about, I think it was 4 o'clock yesterday.
Yep. So just for the record, this is Sunday, which is pretty much, this is just over 24 hours since you've had COVID.
Since I tested positive, correct?
Yes, tested positive. But you thought you've probably had COVID since maybe the Tuesday or the Wednesday.
Since Wednesday, I reckon Wednesday at about 2-3 o'clock is when I thought, fuck, I reckon I'm in trouble here.
That's when your body recognised something here.
Yeah, and to be honest, when it first hit, I got a bit nervous because I've heard of people having COVID. I've never actually. I don't even know. I still to this day don't know anyone that's had COVID and had symptoms apart from myself.
Yes,
that's it.
Yep.
So I was pretty nervous, man.
Of course.
3 days down the track, and I'm fine.
Yeah. So right now, since Wednesday, it's been what has it been? Maybe 5 days.
3.5 days.
3.5 days.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 3.5. Well, yeah, we're about to finish the 4th day. So 4 days. 4 days.
And you're feeling fine today. Like how fine are we talking? Like, could you go outside and go for like a 2-kilometer walk outside in the nice, beautiful weather that we had today?
I walked around my block.
Yep.
And I did a workout today, and yeah, I was probably a bit more tired than normal,
Yes.
but nothing that'll
You
stop me
didn't
doing it.
push yourself to the extremes, though, I'm guessing.
Not to the extremes, but I've like pushed myself. Yeah.
Yes.
And I felt like normal.
Did you go to Performance Matters? Is that a plug for them?
It could be. Could be.
So for all of those that aren't watching, Anton's wearing a Performance Matters t-shirt, and I'm guessing that's the gym that he works out at.
And I used to work out. His name's Cam Matters. And
Cam Matters.
Yeah, Performance Matters is his business name. If anyone wants to sign up, it is
There
a
you
great
go.
gym. I must say.
A shout out to Cam Matters and his business Performance Matters. It's
Correct.
made you the man you are today.
It is. Well, hey, to be honest, I don't quite see how. I mean, and I don't know if it's because I'm double vaxxed.
Yep.
As I would be very interested to see someone that I know personally, mind you, get it who isn't vaxxed. See how they.
Yeah. I'm the same with you. Like right now, you're the first person I know personally that I've obviously been friends with, or still are friends, I'd like to think anyway, that has had COVID, and we see each other not overly regularly, but every now and then we bump into each other, and you're the first person I know that had COVID. You are double vaxxed. As you said, I'm with you. I'd love to find out you don't wish it upon anyone, but
I'd
just like to see as an example, what happens if someone at that party wasn't vaxxed and how they'll pull up. That's my question as well, is that does this vaccination speeding up the recovery process? Because pretty much 4 days since you had really bad symptoms, you're now good to go to do a walk around the block, do a workout, good enough to take a bloody podcast interview, and you're laughing, smiling, and it doesn't look like you're not overly white or anything. You're not pale.
Nah. Apart from my voice, you couldn't tell that I had COVID.
Nah, 100% not.
At all. If you saw me walking down the street, you'd just think I'm some random bloke walking down the street.
Yep.
Whereas Thursday, if you saw me walking down the street, you'd be like, fuck, he's no good.
Yeah. When you had the bad symptoms on the Wednesday, the Thursday, the Friday, where you pretty much predominantly just rested and stayed in bed all day, were you taking any medications, like anything special out of the ordinary?
No. So I've taken cold and flu, Nurofen, and Panadol.
That's all.
The same things I would take 4 years ago if I had a cold.
Oh, so obviously you hear all these rich celebrities taking ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine and monoclonal antibodies and all these things, but obviously the common average Joes like you and I can't afford those really cosmetic and designer drugs as they might call them. But obviously you've just done the old couple of paracetamols, cold and flus, and you beaut.
Good to go.
Yep. Brand new, mate.
I honestly feel like I'm probably 95%. If I could just get rid of this cough, I'd be 100%.
All right. Now, I want to move. Have you finished with everything in regards to that timeline?
Well, yeah, we're currently at Sunday night.
All right.
Sunday night, here it is.
Now, I want to ask you, since you've tested positive, which was last night, roughly around 24 hours ago, just a bit over that, what has SA Health? Now, for all of you international listeners, and by the way, Anton, I'm not too sure if you're aware, we actually have a lot of people listening from other countries. Ireland, we're actually a pretty big hit in Ireland, surprisingly enough. That's why I did an episode on fun facts about Ireland, just to satisfy the listeners there. We've got a few listeners in the United States, and if you actually bear with me 1 second, I'll just get a few other stats as well. So we're actually worldwide here, so you could become some sort of international celebrity after this.
I like it.
What's your Instagram handle, just for those that are interested?
Anton Pogas 12, I believe.
So at Anton Pogas 12.
I do believe so. I'm pretty sure.
All right. So we have listeners in Australia, which is predominantly Australia, United States, United Kingdom, Germany, Ireland, New Zealand, Saudi Arabia, Canada, Spain, Switzerland, Sweden, Poland, Denmark, Uganda. So that's cool to be in Africa as well, and all the continents. Norway, Brazil, United Arab Emirates, Israel, Nigeria, Austria, Luxembourg, Greece, Portugal, Kuwait, Oman, Afghanistan, France, India, Burundi, Bahrain, Finland, Tunisia, Kingdom of Jordan, Netherlands, Colombia, and Romania. So that's a fucking lot of countries. Sorry to waste everyone's time, but that's just letting you know. You could strike it big in Finland for like some unknown reason. So
I might be a big name around the world coming tomorrow morning.
If you get these random ads, they're not fake accounts. They're probably turning stone listeners from all over the globe. So at Anton Pogas 12.
12, correct.
I'll put your handle on the show notes, just to obviously paint a bit of a better picture for the stoners out there. And I call the listeners stoners, by the way.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, SA Health, for all of those international listeners that don't know, is the governing body of our health here in South Australia. What did they tell you when you tested positive? Obviously, they gave you a text message. That's the way they inform us over here. So What did they text you, and what did you have to do at that point?
Okay, so I got a message Saturday night, or Saturday, whatever time it was, 4 o'clock or whatever it was, saying, "Hi, Anton, your test on the 30th, I think it was. Yeah, your test on the 30th for COVID-19 has come back positive. Yep. That means you now have COVID-19. You now need to
Einstein. That means
no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
That means you now need to isolate, and anyone you are living with needs to isolate also. That's it.
Right.
They don't tell you how long.
Yes.
They don't tell you. Oh, actually, no. Funny part is, it says someone from SA Health will be in contact with you shortly.
So shortly for them's like probably 3-4 days.
Well, I've got mates that tested 3 days earlier than me, positive.
Yep.
And no one's been contacted from SA Health. No one. Not
and
one.
Still to this point, which is just over 24 hours, you haven't been contacted at all.
No, I've been sent surveys.
Okay.
Three surveys on how do you feel.
Yep.
And a contact tracing form.
Yes.
Which I've filled out all 3 of them. But no one has rang me going, "Hey, you need to isolate for this long."
Yes.
Hey, like, what's going on? How do you feel? For all they know, with a survey, I could be dying and just writing, "Yeah, feel good, feel great. Yeah, no worries."
Yeah, of course.
Like, how do they know? Unless they ring you and I understand, I get it. We're having a lot of cases currently.
Yep.
But do we not have the resources to contact these people? So don't write it then.
Yeah. I don't understand. Like, obviously they would have put something in place because we had our borders closed for such a long time. And I just thought to myself, you're just delaying the inevitable. What were they expecting when we were opening the borders? We could have done this. Honestly, we closed down, or we locked down in March 20, right? March 2020. We could have done this by December 2020, opened them up. And really, it was this time last year, it would have been the same thing. We've just delayed the inevitable. We've pretty much lost a year of people going overseas to go see family or friends. Imagine you had a sibling, a sister, a mother overseas that you hadn't been seen for 2 years. And now, like, they've just delayed the process.
And what's worse, Terry, is they've delayed the process, but are going backwards still.
Yeah.
Like Melbourne and Queensland, you do whatever you want there.
Yep.
As long as you're vaxxed.
That's right.
As long as you're vaxxed.
Yeah.
You do, which is another point that I'm sure we'll talk about later.
Yes.
But you do what you want there. You stand up. We had, I think it was 8 months of 0 cases. None. 0. We couldn't even stand up and drink.
I know. But you know what? Funnily enough, 8 months of 0 cases, and the government, like, you know, every time they had like a press conference, they were just all smiles. Oh, look at us, COVID free. But you couldn't stand up and drink. How does standing up do anything?
But you can sit down and drink with some random person that you met 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But as soon as you stand up and drink, oh no, you can spread COVID.
What about the mask mandates where you have to walk into a restaurant with one, technically, but then as soon as you sit down and order food, no, it's okay, you can take it off.
And these bullshit QR check-ins. Hey, no one's checking in anymore.
No one is. No, that's right. I'm with you with that. So for all of you that aren't familiar, the QR check-ins here in South Australia, you're meant to scan the QR codes at the front of every establishment to say that you're checking in and you've been to this place just in case there's a COVID outbreak. But the problem was, leading up to Christmas, is that no one was checking in because the definition of a close contact was so broad that pretty much if you were within 3 Ks of a bloody COVID positive, you were probably a close contact and you had to quarantine for 7 days or 14 if you're unvaxxed.
And it got to the point where pretty much Adelaide was a hotspot.
Yeah.
So anyone in Adelaide was a close contact. So they all had the bloody quarantine. No, and I don't know if you've noticed, but they've currently given up these hotspots.
That's right.
Everywhere is one now.
Yep.
Wherever you go, you're probably the person 30 meters away from you has probably had it or got it or whatever. But look, if they don't have the resources to keep up with these things, what did they think was going to happen? Like when we opened up, did they think, oh, maybe we might get 200 a day? We're getting 2,000 a day, 3,000 a day.
Yeah.
It'll be 5,000 a day in 2 weeks. Mind you, I don't believe that it's only 2,000 a day because out of the 30 people at my house, there's 5 of them that have it. That's 1 in 6.
Yes.
So,
well, put it this way, Anton. You know, you can only obviously test positive if you've been tested. How many other people are choosing not to get tested because of the wait times? And so not only the wait times to get tested, but the wait times to find out their result. I reckon there's a lot of people that are borderline, slight cough, slight feeling maybe 80% well, like just a little bit off. They're just like, nah, fuck that. I'm not getting tested because I'm not waiting that long. And then after being quarantined, and then I'm just going to cause a whole bunch of chaos. Some people can't afford to miss work because if they're casuals, they don't get sick leave, all that sort of nonsense.
That's my point. Funny you say that. So, person I personally know feels sick at the moment.
Yes.
He can't afford to. He owns his own business.
Yep.
He can't afford to shut his business down.
Yeah.
So he shut his business down over this period.
Yep.
And just said, well, I'm going back to work when I feel better. I'm not going to get tested. I'm not quarantining for another 10 days after I get my test, mind you.
Yeah.
But people can't afford to just do that, Terry. You have to get to a stage like every single other state has where, oh, well, it is what it is. We need to now live with it and move on. Not, oh, we're going to open up. Oh, no, we're not.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to let you do this. Oh, no, we're not. You can't just live in a bubble. It's proven in South Australia that it's just not working. Our health system is not working.
No, it's definitely not meeting demand, and it's not just not meeting demand, but so fucking way off the mark. It's not even funny.
It's so far behind. It's actually ridiculous.
Yeah,
how far we are behind every other state in Australia. And
I mean, it's just common theme with the SA government. We made a bloody one-way expressway all those years ago, and we thought, oh, let's just make it two-way. It took them 20 years to figure that out.
Idiots, man. Idiots.
Yeah.
And you're right. And like, we're just, it's ridiculous.
In contrast, Victoria. So as I said before, when I went there, this was about 3 weeks ago, early December, I got tested and I was only in line for half an hour, right? And she goes to me, the lady that was doing the test and the questionnaire at the front. So by the way, while you're in line, this is how clever they are. While you're in line to get tested in Victoria, they tell you to scan this particular QR code, which then opens up a form on your mobile. You fill out all your details whilst waiting. Then when you get to the tent that's ready to take it, all they ask for is a little unique code that the form spits out just to confirm that it's you. You say your date of birth and stuff. And they're like, okay, yep, thank you, Terry. Got all your details. Off you go. Here's your package. Give it to the testing lady. Get a swab out. She asked me, is there any reason for you to get tested? I said, no, I feel fine. I just need to get it because South Australia, as part of their requirements, I need to get a negative test within 72 hours. She goes, yep. She goes, you know what? I'll put that on the top of your priority list because she probably thought I was flying out the next day. I wasn't. I was flying out the day after, which is still within 72 hours. Anyway, so I got the test around between 5 and 5:30 p.m. I went out that night, a few drinks, obviously standing consumption, allowed to, do whatever I wanted, no restrictions whatsoever. The only thing that they were picky about was vaccine proof. A lot of places I went to asked for vaccine proof. But anyway, midnight, which was pretty much 7 hours later, got my negative test. 7 hours later, half an hour wait time to get tested, and then 7 hours between time of test and result.
Yeah.
And these guys here, They're getting, before Omicron hit, they were getting 1,500 to 2,000 cases a day.
Exactly.
And the night before, on Friday, I went to this club, shoulder to shoulder, mate. We were packed in like sardines.
Yep.
They were cranking the tunes. People bloody spilling drinks on each other. That's how close you're getting. I'm thinking this is like pre-pandemic days. I miss those times.
Because
and
it's
here,
normal.
Yeah, and here it's just a crock of shit.
Here, 25% capacity at places.
Yep.
How do you expect businesses to survive at 25% capacity when this is currently their busiest time of the year?
I know.
If a lot of them right now.
Well, imagine this. Imagine you're like obviously with all we're in summer at the moment. Imagine you're a gelati place in Henley Beach or a cafe down there, like by the ocean. You're expecting a lot of people to come through over this festive period because everyone's on holidays, but also because it's hot weather. And now you can only take 25% or it's takeaway. Sometimes on these public holidays with the employment standards as it is, double time and a half, it's probably cost you more to open up because you can only take 25% in than it does to bloody not open.
Oh, 100%. We had, well, for people outside of Australia, well, even South Australia, the Ramsgate Hotel in Henley Beach, mind you, which is a massive tourist attraction here, especially in the summer, closed down yesterday because they didn't have enough staff.
Yeah, because they're all probably isolating or close contact.
Isolating or this close contact bullshit.
Yep.
In the busiest period that they'll have.
Yes, I know.
The year. Like it is. How can you expect businesses to go like that? It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
And then it's just going to be this like a negative feedback loop in the fact that, all right, businesses close, government's response, handouts. Then governments put taxes up to make that money back from the handouts they were originally getting back. And those taxpayers are probably those businesses that reopen after they were closed down. It's just, so.
And are they going to do this every single time? Every single time someone's a close contact, they're going to shut down, are they? They'll be shut down every week.
I know. Well, if it was up to the health minister, and we won't mention her name, but if it was up to her, and apparently it's leaked out of the committee meetings that they've had, she wants a lockdown. ScoMo had a meeting with all the premiers the other week saying that, and they came to an agreement, no more lockdowns. This is before Omicron hit, and I understand that has thrown a spanner in the works, but it's not as severe. Obviously,
it's nowhere
transmissible according to the data. It's transmissible a lot more, but it's nowhere near as severe as what Delta was. Not sure why there's a massive gap between Delta and Omicron in regards to the Greek gap. Clearly, these Aussies and whoever works in the World Health Organization, they missed a few. They probably missed a few brain cells as well. But it's interesting. And I guess by the end of it, I mean, what happens with the next strain? Because it's always going to mutate.
Exactly. Are we just going to keep going? Oh, well, there's another strain. Quick, we better do this now. Oh, there's another strain. We're going to do this for 10 years. Oh, yeah. I feel like in 3 years' time, we're going to look back at this time and be like, what the fuck was that?
And laugh about it, hopefully.
What the fuck was that?
Hopefully it's gone by 3 years.
I had a conversation with my housemate who's full-blown anti-vax. And even I said to him, look, I'm hoping that this time, even next year, we look back on this conversation that we're having right now and just think, what were we doing?
Yeah.
Honestly, we're in isolation, and in 3 days' time, I feel fine.
Clearly, people are getting severely sick enough to go to hospital and are dying, which I understand.
For sure. But that's not great at all. But
no, it's not. But people are getting sick and dying every day through other illnesses, through other issues. And I mean, we don't have the data at my fingertips, and sometimes the credibility of that data source can be a bit manipulated just to spin a certain story or a narrative, which is always the case because whenever you're the author of something, you want that to be the facts. You want that to be the honest truth. So, I mean, sometimes when it comes to government public information, if you can't trust that, then what the fuck can you trust? But that's the problem, because then you have a bit of corruption internally, who's getting payouts. It's just, I understand people getting sick, but the thing is, I thought the whole thing was once, a lot of the population got vaccinated, we're not going to be worrying about cases much anymore. It's going to be about hospitalizations only. Of course, yeah, people still should
But
get tested, but they're only going to be worrying about the numbers of those in hospital compared to those. Because you know what's happening now? We're at 2,200 cases now today. It was
okay, yeah.
2,100 yesterday. It was in the 1,500s the day before. It's obviously growing here and it's growing around the world. But if you look at the, I guess, hospitalizations, they're growing slightly, but nowhere near in line with the case numbers.
Not even close. I think there was 2,238 cases today. I think there was 3 more hospitalizations. 3.
But those higher numbers are scaring people. And that's why you're getting those weird looks in lines and stuff like that when you had those coughs, when you were waiting to get tested.
But why do we need, as you said before, why do I care how many cases? I know the case. Everybody knows the cases are going to grow. We know that.
Yeah.
What I care about is the hospitalizations and how many people are dying.
Yep.
Because we've had 2, I believe. I think it's either 2 or 3 so far.
In the last few months, yeah, 2 or 3. I think it was 4 before this last wave hit, but then, yeah, since then it's 2 or 3, which obviously is not great. But I'm sure there's been more than 3 deaths in the last fucking month.
And this might sound stupid, but how many people have died from car crashes in the last month? Everyone still drives.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's one of those things. And then you go to pneumonia, you go to influenza, you go to anything else that's very closely linked with the symptoms of COVID-19, and it's like, where are those case numbers, or where have they ever been? Because I bet you, imagine they told us about case numbers of the flu 5-6 years ago. People would shit their pants. People would all get the flu shot.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
They didn't go and mandate that, did they?
No.
And all of a sudden, though, there's no flu cases. Oh, of course there's not.
Nah.
Of course there's not.
That's right. So, speaking about mandates, what are your thoughts on mandates? And I know you're fully vaxxed. When was the last jab that you had to make you fully vaccinated?
So I think 3 months ago. So I'm now, in a month's time, I believe, eligible for this booster.
Yep. Are you going to get it?
Well, again, I don't see why not, but I don't see why I need it.
Yeah.
Now that I've now caught COVID, I guess.
Yes.
I now don't see why I need it.
Well, do you know?
I'll get it. I've got no problems getting it. I don't care about like that.
Yes.
I've put way worse things in my body than a goddamn COVID jab.
Yep.
That's got no problems. But are we just gonna? Sorry. Are we just gonna keep boostering this booster, that booster for this?
Yeah.
It's like bloody Opera handing out freaking boosters, man.
Apparently in the UK, they've developed Pfizer's developed a COVID-19 treatment pill. So now it's boosters, pills.
Boosters, pills. What else are they going to make you take?
Yeah, I know. So in the United States, I don't know if you're aware, and obviously you had a pretty lengthy spell over there studying, playing soccer and stuff in New Jersey, but I don't know if you still got any ties back with there. But apparently if you get infected with COVID-19, infected positive, then you recover from that. That's seen just as good as being fully vaccinated after that, because you've got all the antibodies. So for the next 6 months, you've basically got that immunity.
You're immune.
You can show proof that you've recovered from COVID-19, and for those next 6 months, you don't need to be double vaxxed, because that's like
correct.
You've got the same level of protection. Why don't we have that here?
I don't understand. And they had 498,000 cases yesterday, and I am still in contact with a fair few people from America, and they laugh at us.
They do.
They laugh at us. They go, what, 2,000? Obviously, per capita, it's different. Fair enough. But 498,000 cases is massive amount. That's 500,000 people, man.
I know.
Right, per day. They are doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
Whatever they want. And it makes no sense that we are being told still that we can't do this, we can't do that, you can't do this. And on the mandate thing, that which is what we started with, I'm not against mandates, but I believe if you want it, you go get it. I believe there are people that should have it, like healthcare workers and people who work with elderly and
vulnerable people.
Yes, I do believe you should get it. And I don't think you'll find anyone that says no to that, to be honest. But if you're a Joe Blow who works at the bakery down the road, if you don't want to get it, you don't want to get it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really struggling to comprehend how people are losing their jobs as
100%.
office clerks or outdoor council workers that are just gardeners for the council, like, mowing lawns, how they're losing their jobs because they just don't want to put something into their body. They don't feel comfortable putting something in their body.
Nice.
And they're not high risk. They're not in a high risk setting. They're not affecting other people, especially those outdoor workers anyway. But yeah, 100%. I understand certain industries need to be vaccinated. And I agree with those mandates, especially healthcare workers or anyone in the health profession, because you're dealing with sick, vulnerable people, those that are immunocompromised. Last thing you want to do is give them something that will be the straw that broke the camel's back. You know what I mean?
Deadly, yeah. No, I totally agree with you on that one, for sure.
And there's probably a few other industries that are, but I mean, we're not going to play government and say which should be, which should not be. But yeah, the mandate, it's very difficult. I know someone that has put off the decision of not getting vaxxed, and because obviously they're in an occupation where they will lose their job if they don't get vaccinated, and they've got they've obviously taken some time off just to think about it, and they're still not sure what they're going to do, but they don't want to do it. And that's completely your choice. And I think they're saying, see, the way that the government's manipulating this, they're saying that it's still your choice, but if you choose not to do it, well, you can't do all these things. But they're just still saying, we're not forcing you to do it. But then all these mandates to say, well, we do need to work to live,
The word they can't use is compulsory, Terry. They cannot use compulsory, but they can use mandate. We're going to mandate the vax, but we can't make it compulsory. So you don't have to have it, but you can't do anything.
That's right.
Like, I'm going to Queensland in February, and my housemate's coming with me, who doesn't want to get it, which is fine.
Yep.
But when he gets there, and he raised a very good point yesterday, because we were speaking about it, and I just said, why don't you just get it? And he goes, well, I don't want it. He goes, I just don't want it. And I said, that's fine. Like, that's your choice. But how can you, and mind you, he is fit as fuck.
Yep.
Fit as. Even if he got it, I'm telling you right now, he would be over it tomorrow. Huh? So I said to him, because in Queensland, they have mandated it to get in like pretty much 99% of restaurants, 99% of bars, everything. And he said, how can you tell me that I can't walk into a bar, but you can? Just because you've got a vaccine. How? In 2022, you're telling me that I can't walk into a bar, but you can because you're vaxxed and I'm not. How does that work? It makes no sense.
Can I just go, and I think that's ridiculous, but can I just tell you another little ridiculous story? I was at Crybaby, actually, funnily enough, the day after ended up being a hotspot and a close contact. But, knowing SA Health, people that went the day after knew about it 5 days later. So where else have they been in the community? You know what I mean? Like, that's the problem with this time of information. But anyway, I was at Crybaby, right? We went to Sonny's Pizza, which is a few doors down. So it's a pizza bar, nice pizzas, beautiful. And then we thought, a couple of little refreshments. We'll go to Crybaby after. We walked in, no masks. We actually still checked in. Showed the security guards our green tick, went to the door, and there was 5 of us, all work colleagues. We were all vaxxed, by the way. Went to the bar straight, like as soon as I walked in, we seen a few spots, obviously have to sit down and drink. So we're like, all right, we'll sit there after. We just quickly get a drink, then we'll walk to our seats. Went to the bar, it's about to buy a round of VSLs, or for anyone that doesn't know, vodka soda limes. And I just said 5 vodka soda limes, please. And she says, and fresh lime, by the way. She said to me, where's your mask? I said, I actually didn't get it. Can I just quickly get a round of drinks? We'll go sit down. And I apologize for the inconvenience. She goes, I can't serve you without a mask. I said, look, we've just checked in. I'll show you my green tick. I can even show you my proof of vaccination if you want to even see that, which it's not forced here. I said, I'm doing all the right things. I just want to quickly get a drink. So I know I can't stand or whatever. I'll go to my seat.
I'll go sit down.
Yeah. She goes, I can't serve you without a mask. I said, she goes, I'm sorry, but it's just part of the policy, right? And I just said to her, like, and I wasn't angry or anything. I understood. That's, it's her job. It's not really, she's not enforcing. Yeah. I go, yep, fair enough. But I just said as a passing comment, that I said, I've already walked in without a mask. Imagine I actually had COVID-19. Yous are all stuffed.
Mm-hmm.
I said, it's already in here now, and this is going to be a hot spot. Funnily enough, it was 24 hours later. And I said, you're all stuffed. But I said, if I had some piece of cloth over my mouth, right?
That's fine.
Then that's fine. But then I can take it off 10 seconds later when I hit my seat and I'm start drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be closer to my mates than I am now, because when you're standing up at the bar, you're not bloody fucking shoulder to shoulder. But when I'm sitting in the booth there, crybaby, you're shoulder to shoulder. People are singing. Well, I don't know if you can sing anymore, or whatever. But at Crybaby, they're pumping out all the old school bangers, and everyone's singing and shit. It's like I didn't understand that. And then anyway, this is what gets worse. I went next door, and I don't want to get these businesses in trouble, but I went next door to Thousand Island. Right, checked in. It's the same company name. And then I asked the bartender, and they didn't ask for a mask or anything when I got there. They got served, no worries. I asked the bartender, I said, are you all owned by, I knew Sonny's and Crybaby owned by the same people.
Yeah.
I go, is Thousand Island owned by Crybaby? He goes, yeah, same employer. Yeah. I'm like, how do you have all these different rules for different businesses that it's owned by the same person or the same group of people?
Because nobody knows the rules. No one knows what rules. A classic case at the moment is this changing of this close contact. Mate, it's a world pandemic. Is it a world pandemic, or is it a state-by-state pandemic, or is it a town-by-town pandemic, or is it a pandemic? Is it a pandemic at all?
Well, the way ScoMo's opinion means fuck all. You can wipe your ass with ScoMo's opinions, because pretty much every state's in a state of emergency, so the premiers can rule the roost. And basically, you might as well take us back to before 1901 when the country got federated. Exactly. That's when every state was a colony. Basically, it's its own country. WA is it's its own republic at the moment.
So how can Nicholas Spurrier override Scott Morrison? That's like that doesn't make any sense. That's like Scott Morrison overriding the Queen. That's like the Queen going, well, Australia's going to do this, and ScoMo going, nah, love, we're going to do this. No.
Yeah, I know.
That's not how it works. So now every single state, apart from South Australia, is 7 days of isolation. South Australia's 10.
Yeah. And also the time. Rules? It's 50. You know how ScoMo said it's a close contact's going to be with the same person for 4 hours? Yeah. SA is like, 15 minutes. We'll agree to that. Then they changed it back to 15 minutes.
So if you're with someone for 14 minutes, all good. Or if you're with someone for 3 hours and 55 minutes, all good. But 4 hours and 5 minutes, oh no, you're a close contact.
Yeah, you're fine.
Where do these people come up with these rules? Where are they pulling these time frames from? Because 15 minutes and 4 hours is a lot of time in between. You can do a lot of things in 3.5 hours.
Well, for some people that have premature ejaculation, you can do a lot of things in 14 minutes and 55 seconds.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Because intimate partners are close contacts as well. So,
mate,
and they're confusing. They're not very black and white either. Because like right now, you're infected, right? So you got no fucking idea what to do next.
I haven't been contacted by no one. No one. For all they know, I could be walking out and going to Woolworths, doing whatever the fuck I want to do. And I understand you can't you can't contact everyone.
Yeah.
But you can contact the positive cases. I'm fucking positive, man. And if you don't have the resources to contact the positive cases, then don't write in your message, you'll be contacted shortly by SA Health.
You know what's going to happen? You know what's going to be happening, Anton? Like you obviously get to a point where you get another test, and obviously that'll be negative, and you're free to go. But then you're going to have this, and I hate to say it, but you're going to have a bit of stigma against you. Like if anyone sees you after you're negative, people are going to be a bit weird to you, and I feel for you. But it's going to happen, and I think you need to expect that.
But Terry, you say that I need to go get another test. I don't need to go get another test. I had to ring SA Health myself and go, so what do I do? And they go, well, you just need to you need to isolate for 10 days, and off you go.
That's it.
That's it. You don't need to go to get another. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I said, well, how does what's 10 days? And they said, oh, well, that's the infection period done.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So I just, on the 10th day, see you later. 12:01, I'm out of here. Midnight.
And of course, and you know what? You're probably not going to get another test because you're not going to go through another 10.5-hour wait, which was 8.5 hours in one, plus 2 hours on SA Health to call them up and ask, oh, have they stuffed your test up this time? Plus another 54 hours waiting for your test result, or 56, whatever.
No, thank you. I'm glad I don't have to get another test. But how can you tell me I don't have to get another test after I've just tested positive? That makes no sense.
Wouldn't they want you to get another test just for peace of mind?
To be negative, surely.
Yeah.
Surely.
How about a rapid antigen test, which aren't foolproof, but they're like some sort of indication whether you've got it or not?
Yeah. No, nothing. They said nothing. They said you go do your 10 days of ISO and off you go.
Do you know there's a lot of people still that are getting long haul COVID, right? And when I mean a lot, I'm just saying there's people out there that cop COVID, not severely bad, but it just stays with them for a long time. Like, for example, celebrity Piers Morgan, who's on various talk shows. He's a UK personality. He reckons for 3 months he had no sense of smell or taste. He had long haul COVID. He said symptoms weren't overly bad, but he goes, just the taste and smell was the real pain in the ass for him. And obviously he's recovering now, and he was fully vaxxed. So, like, you're saying the infection period's 10 days, but if you've got like no sense of smell or taste for 3 months, fucking hell, like, and according to SA, you don't have to fucking get tested anymore.
And no dramas. No drama. You can go out in the public.
So you can go to Woolies. You could be going to the fresh produce aisle, touching all the apples, trying to feel which one you want. That's fine.
With not knowing if you have it or not because you haven't been tested for the second time. Because you don't have to be, apparently. Ridiculous.
You can go to those self-serve checkouts, press all the buttons on the screen.
All the buttons you want.
Yep.
Unbelievable. I couldn't believe when they said you don't. I thought that was the process. But I also thought, how can I be infected and be made to go line up again? That makes no sense. Because I'm just going to spread it, am I not?
Yeah. The only way those testing clinics work are those drive-through testing because you're actually in your own car. Yeah, they make sense, but practically speaking, no states have massive. I mean, each state will probably have a few, but you don't have enough where there's room to have every testing clinic to be a drive-through one. You know what I mean?
No, that's fair. That makes total sense. But then that brings me back to that point where I knew I had it on the Thursday, and I'm standing around all these people.
Yeah.
For all I know, I could have infected 50 people that day.
That's right.
I have no idea.
And you would have made everyone else there nervous.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I would, if I didn't have it and I saw someone doing what I was doing, I'd be like, get the fuck away from me, man. Like, don't come near me. I don't want that shit. But,
so if we're in America, Pogas, right now you would have 6 months clearance of immunity because now, well, obviously, hopefully you recover from COVID, and it looks like you're about to recover there, and probably in the next couple of days you have a test. You probably will test negative. Who's to say? Yeah. But I mean, it looks like that you're on the mend, and that's probably the most positive sign. Whether a test result says that or not, probably might take a few days after that. But right now you've got immunity for 6 months if we're in America. Here you don't. So you're saying that you're 1 month away from getting a booster, but really if you're in America, you'd be good for another 6 months, and you probably need to get a booster after 6, not in a month's time.
And funny little thing I listened to, because I listened to my mate of mine listened to a fair few podcasts on this stuff because he's very factual. He doesn't just talk shit. Oh, I don't want the vax because I don't know what's in it. Rah, 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 rah. He's not one of them. So over in America, they've changed the isolation period to 5 days. It used to be 10.
Yep.
They changed it to 5 days because businesses were losing too much money with all the workers that they had to quarantine for 10 days. They couldn't afford to run their business.
Yes, exactly.
So they changed it to 5 days. So is this just a money thing? Or is it a deadly virus? Come on, you tell me, because I don't know, because I can't work it out.
But if it was a money thing, then wouldn't we be doing something similar? Or you're saying that they've done it over there because it is a money thing? Because
and their cases are obviously fucking humongous compared to ours.
Yeah.
They got a lot more people and a lot more businesses being affected. And the business is going, well, I can't afford to have Julia and Steve and Terry and Anton all quarantined for a week, I'm losing thousands of dollars that week if I don't
Can't open the shop without staff.
So quick, change the period to 5 days all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So now it's 5 days and you're all good.
Yeah.
How does that work? There's just things that I don't understand, because if it's a pandemic, then it should be the same set rules for the whole world, should it not? That makes sense in my head.
I think so. Of course, every culture, nationality, continent, we're all going to have a few different little unique things to us. Hence the reason why some mutations grow in certain humans as opposed to others. Yeah. But for the most part, we're the fucking same species, aren't we?
Exactly. We're all humans. You got to have the same rules, or even pretty close to the same rules for everybody. You can't just make up, this place is going to be 5 days, this one's going to be 10. We're going to wear masks. We're not wearing masks. Yeah, you either follow the same book by the World Health Organization or you don't.
Yeah, I agree. And then then you have some people with real massive, like they're obviously so far to one side saying, spewing that SA opened the borders, should never have opened them up. Then other people aren't vaxxed, don't give a fuck. They're like, you know what, if I get it, well, then it will make my body stronger when I recover from it. Where some people are just so sensitive, wrapped up in cotton wool, probably wearing face shields, probably wearing cricket pads as well, for all I know, just in case they get LB on the street or something like that. But
hey, unless you sit on your couch for the rest of your life and do absolutely nothing, you're going to get it. You're bound to get it.
It's a matter of time, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. And another thing I would have loved to know by SA Health, considering I live with people, and they're waiting on their results at the moment, but they're healthy, so I'm assuming they will test negative.
Yep.
When they get it, say 2 months down the track, do I again have to isolate for 10 days because I'm a close contact?
Yeah, good question. Well, according to them, you probably fucking have to, but you shouldn't.
No way I shouldn't. If I've already had it, I'm not fucking isolating.
Yeah, I know.
Why should I have to do that? That's bullshit.
And do you know what? Not only is it unfair for you, and then say work hypothetically pays you sick leave for that, but then how unfair is that on work when they've got a fit, healthy person here at home that just the government tells them they have to stay home, that could be at work, just can't be because of a stupid rule. They're losing money, you're losing just freedom. And really, it's just a matter of the government flexing their muscle, just saying, yep, we've got everything under control, just to make the people think that they're doing the right thing.
And that rule is very unclear. And I don't know if that rule's been even mentioned by SA Health. What happens if someone else gets it and you've already got it? Like you've already had it and someone at your other house. Because say I live with 5 people, Terry. Well, I'm going to quarantine for 5 weeks of the year, plus my 4 weeks of annual leave. That's 9 weeks of the year I'm going to be paid for without being at work. I don't think so. I don't know a business that'll be like, yeah, no worries, man. Off you go another week. Off you go another week.
Like you got long service leave every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I don't think that's how it works. And I don't think that's been answered by anyone, really.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I certainly don't know the answer.
Well, if you're, hold on, you're double vaxxed, now you've got COVID and you're on the mend, you seem like, you're good enough to start having workouts, complexion, your skin's fine, no issue, just apart from a slight cough. So you're improving day by day, hour by hour. I've read this study out there. Don't quote me on who's the authors. There's a whole bunch of them, all these medical scientists with like really long, complicated last names. It always seems to be the case. Anyway, basically saying that the best form of immunity out there at this point in time is if you've been double jabbed and also have recovered from COVID-19, you have pretty much all the antibodies. So right now, you should feel special that you're probably in the best position possible from ever getting it again, because it is possible to get it twice. Because if you look at Mikel Arteta, Arsenal manager, he's got it a second time. So it is possible. So he wasn't on the bench last night against City.
No, I did see that.
This is not a soccer podcast, but I'm pretty filthy about that result last night. Fucking VAR penalty decisions. Absolute bullshit. Have you seen
that also? I watched. Trust me, I watched.
Odegaard, surely a penalty with the angle That's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, all right, this is not a VAR podcast. We probably need to have one sooner rather than later because of last night. But yeah, you can get it twice. So right now you have the best antibodies in the world going around. Like not just you,
Correct.
but anyone with your situation, being double jabbed and copped the COVID antibodies as well. You're pretty much bulletproof. Or you've got the best form of protection that's out there. There's nothing better that you can give to someone.
Correct. So I'm hoping, like as I said before, I'm hoping if so be it, my housemates do get it eventually.
Yep.
Surely I don't have to quarantine again. Surely, because that would just go against everything, really.
Yeah.
That just makes no sense.
Exactly. I wonder how they're going to spin it, because they always try and spin their own narrative to say, oh, why you need to do this and why you need to do that.
And then further on, say they get it, because apparently, I don't know if this is true, but apparently you can't get it in 3 months. So you got 90 days after you've got it. 90 days you can't get it, apparently. So
that means in the next 3 months, if they get it, you shouldn't have to. You should be able to do what you want because you can't get it again.
Oh no, yeah. Well, supposedly anyway. But what I'm saying is, if they get it in 6 months, I'm not going to quarantine. That's still another week off work.
That's right.
Like is there a time period that, is it never again? These are the things that they need to tell people, because now so many people are getting it. So many people obviously live with people. What about if that person gets it now? What about if this person gets it now? What do I do as the person that's already had it?
Well, maybe in 6 months' time, there's a new strain, and obviously what comes after O in the Greek alphabet's P, and so you get that strain, the P strain, and then maybe because you can
just have to quarantine again, I guess.
Yeah.
Get another booster. Oh, I don't know.
Maybe they'll change the close contact time from 15 minutes to bloody 7.5. Quarantine for 11 days, not 10.
The rules, there's a lot of holes, and I can totally understand why there are so many people totally against this, because especially from someone who's now got it and very much on the mend, I don't think that the hype around it is worth the result.
Yeah. Well, this is right here. This is evidence from someone that's actually got it, that had pretty, I wouldn't say severe symptoms enough to go to a hospital, but felt pretty lethargic, felt pretty run down for a good 48 hours, you would say, or probably a bit more?
Oh, yeah, a bit more. I was pretty fucked, to be honest.
Have you ever felt like that before?
Oh, no. I've had the cold several times.
Is this the worst you've ever felt?
Yeah. I was Thursday when I woke up was probably the sickest I've ever felt.
Yep.
Probably in my life, to be honest.
And you're in your mid-20s, so for you to feel that, clearly COVID is real, and
it is real. No doubt it's real.
But the problem is, just imagine like it happens to an elderly person in their 60, like over 65, someone in that between 65 and 90. Clearly, that might just be too much for them, and their system might not cope, because they might have other comorbidities, they call them, which is like they might have blood pressure, cholesterol, they might have asthma. They might have some other issues underlying that. This is the one thing, and as I said before, the straw that broke the camel's back, that might send them to hospital, or touch wood, hopefully not, but could send them to the grave.
Correct. Well, that point I certainly agree with, but I still, and I would hope that they were double vaxxed, though, people of that age bracket, because again, I don't know what I would feel like if I wasn't. But, I mean, I'm a fairly fit and healthy person, but it's taken me 48, 58 hours to get over it. Yeah. That is not a deadly virus.
Well, pretty much really any illness that I've ever had in my whole life, apart from glandular fever, which wiped me out for about, I'd say, a week to 2 weeks, which is pretty common as well. No vaccines for that or anything like that, just pretty much some good bed rest and plenty of water. Really, that's pretty much every. And I've been on antibiotics before when I've been younger with bronchitis and all this other shit, and I've been lethargic a few times. Like I remember, if I've had big weekends and leading up to that big weekend, like if I've had a 3-4 day bender, and then that week leading up to it, I've been busy with work, not getting much sleep. Then after, when you finally actually have time to relax, it all hits you. I've been like that where, I've been wiped out for a day or two, but then you just recover. And then, obviously here it looks like, obviously you've been in a situation where you haven't felt any worse before, but now once again, you've bounced back.
Well, exactly. And I mean, it's only been 3 days. Like that's not, to me, that's not a virus worthy of worldwide panic.
Yep.
In my mind, anyway. I don't know. And again, I don't know if other people have been affected worse, better, whatever. But to me, 3 days of, pretty shitty, but nothing I couldn't put up with, that's for sure. I wasn't dying. I can tell you that much.
Were you vaccinated Pfizer?
Yeah, Pfizer, yeah.
Okay.
Pfizer, yeah.
After your second jab, did you feel average?
Yeah, so my first jab was fine.
Yep.
I didn't even feel the jab go in. I said to the lady, "Have you even done it yet?" She's like, "Yeah, off you go." I was like, "Righto." My second jab rocked me a fair bit.
Yes.
But it was only for the next day. And then I was fine. Like my arm was sore for a long time. Like I'm talking like a week.
Oh, right. Because what they do is it's an intramuscular injection, so they actually put it into the muscle. And like my arm was tender too for probably. It was probably really tender for 2 days, and I felt average the day after my second jab as well. Like I felt very low energy, very lethargic.
Didn't very tired.
Feel like doing anything. I still went to work like an idiot, where pretty much all my colleagues took sickies after their second jab. I just needed to get something done that day. Looking back in hindsight, it could have waited. Should have fucking taken a sickie. And I was legitimately not feeling great. But then, funnily enough, I went to bed early that night and woke up the next day brand new.
Fine. Yeah, no, me too, yeah. I don't know, but the lady who I got it from, my second jab, she like full on grabbed my arm and it was like a dart, man. She was just like jabbed me. I was like, far out, man. I felt it straight away, like pain. Big
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it only lasted a day and I was fine.
All right. And do you, like obviously now you're double vaxxed, got the Pfizer, which is an mRNA vaccine. Any advice to those that haven't been vaxxed? Because obviously you got a few mates and so do I. They've obviously got their reasons for it, and I support them because, to be honest with you, I'm of the opinion that it should be pro-choice in regards to that respect and on that topic. So what's your advice to anyone that's not vaxxed or vaxxed or just anyone in regards to this situation?
I would say if you have underlying health conditions or if you are of an age where you are potentially like more vulnerable, I guess. Yep. I definitely would get it.
Yes.
For sure.
Because of what you experienced, you just don't want someone that's got conditions, underlying health conditions, or someone that's older to go through what you.
And to be honest, I think it should be mandated for people with underlying health conditions and the more vulnerable. I do. But if you're healthy, you're active, you're not even young. You're in that age bracket where you're still fit, still healthy. I believe it is what it is. If you don't want to get it, you don't get it. If you want to get it, go and get it. And this, you can't go into a pub, but you can because you've got a vax, is a load of shit. In my mind, it's a load of shit.
Yes, exactly. Because as it stands right now, whether you're vaxxed or you're not, you can still get it. So going to Queensland with your housemate, really, I mean, how unfair is it on him because he's not vaxxed? He can't go into certain venues, but you can.
Exactly. And the fact that I've got it and I'm fine is just like, well...
What's the conspiracy behind that all? Because, like, say you can go in, but he can't, and you legitimately do that. Then when you go back to your hotel room that night, and you catch it, you've given it to him anyway.
I've given it, exactly.
And he's had no enjoyment, but he's copped it.
But exactly. I've given it to him anyway. So, I mean, I think, I don't know, and don't quote me on it, but I think they're saying that if you're vaxxed, you're least likely to spread it. Again, a load of shit, because the only people that have got it from my house on Boxing Day were vaxxed.
Yes, that's right.
So there goes that out the window. That makes no sense.
Yes. So that's what they've suggested. you got a lesser likelihood of spreading it and a lesser likelihood of going to hospital. But
Yeah.
what are those? How much are you reducing the risk by? I guess it's an insurance policy potentially, but clearly not a lot because.
Well, clearly not a lot because I still felt it.
Yeah, looking at that Boxing Day party, out of all 100%, 100% of the people that got COVID were all vaxxed. 100% of them.
100%, yeah.
So, it's funny, like people like looking at the statistics. Well, that's a statistic for you right there.
There's a statistic for you, yeah.
The 1 in 6 people at the party got it, but also 100% of those people that got it were COVID were vaxxed, yeah, and COVID positive.
So, yeah, I don't know how you spread it because how all of us don't have it from that day is beyond me. We were sharing everything pretty much. And the only people that did end up with it were the double vaxxed.
Are you going to have a new perspective on pandemic life after these 10 days? Like when you go out now to the public, are you just going to be like, well, I've had it, I'm vaccinated, you've copped it all, and you're still here to tell the tale? Obviously, you get your freedoms back after the 10 days. Because some people have told me, family, friends, just be careful now, like where you go, this and that. But you know what my response is? I'm like, first and foremost, I've gone interstate a few times during this pandemic. I even came from New York when COVID hit, and I was in Times Square when it was dead. I asked people, like some shop owners around Times Square, I said to them, have you ever seen it this quiet? They said, like in their American accent, they said, nah, man, even during 9/11, it wasn't this quiet. And I thought to myself, fuck, something's going on here. And then I seen on like social media, ScoMo's urging all like Australians overseas to come back home. So I've traveled internationally. I've traveled interstate during this pandemic, and I'm like, I've survived it, whether I've been lucky or not. I'm not going to be cocky saying I'm invincible because, of course, anyone can get it. But then, like people saying, oh, just be careful where you go. And I think to myself, well, what's stopping you from just going to fill up your car, going to the servo and copping it? Something so innocuous like that, and you could still get
it. Terry, we're not going to live our lives. If everyone lives their life like a hermit crab, then no one will get it. But no one's going to do that.
No one is. You can't, though.
You can't live your life in fear the whole time.
Yep.
Because if you do, you'll do nothing. You can't drive a car then because you're in fear of crashing. You can't go to the beach because you're in fear of drowning. You know what I mean? If you lived your life in fear the whole time, you'd sit on your couch and that's it.
Exactly. I agree.
And who knows? You might get a spider bite on your couch. Who knows?
Yeah,
you might die.
maybe.
You know what I mean? Because I've also had people now saying to me, "Oh, we'll just like be aware. Don't do this, don't do that." Nah.
Fuck that.
Especially now that I've had it and I'm over it. I'll do what I want. When I want.
Exactly. But you should have your freedoms back like everyone else after these. Apparently that's the rule, 10 days and you have your freedoms back. But now you obviously have this different perspective. Like, oh, I've copped it. Oh, yeah, it was bad for a couple of days, but now I'm good. I'm vaxxed, got the antibodies from COVID. So really, I mean, you're no harm on the population, on the public.
Anyone. Nope. And even before, everyone was like, oh, because I'm quite a social person.
Yep.
Oh, you go out a lot. Are you not scared? No, I'm not scared.
Because it's as simple as going to Woolies just to get some bread and milk.
Exactly.
And you can cop it from that, or you can go to Crybaby, Loverboy, wineries, Boxing Day shenanigans, and potentially get away with it there. Or not catch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because out of those 30 people, 25 didn't get it.
Well, I mean, I've been out for the past 2-3 months with it going haywire. And I've only caught it from what I think anyway. I only caught it from my house.
Yeah.
So, you can't live your life in fear. That's my advice. Definitely do not live your life in fear.
But do you reckon that's what they want? Do you reckon that's what they want?
Well, that's why they're telling people these massive higher numbers of these cases, in my opinion anyway. No one cares about the case numbers. We shouldn't be told the case numbers, as we said before, because they're just going to skyrocket. They're going to go through the fucking roof.
Yeah,
it's bound to happen. But what we need to be told is this many people died today. This many people went to hospital today, and then put that in. Oh well, there was the testing. Yeah, the testing. I think we need to be told how many tests per day, which is great. How we've got so many. But if you put in 25,000 tests and they say 3 hospitalizations, people are going to go, well, what's that? Fucking 0.000000001.
Yeah.
Oh, well, whoop-diddy doop-diddy. But you go 25,000 tests and 4,000 cases, all of a sudden you're looking at 2%.
How about telling us
mate.
how many of those active cases are now recovered?
Exactly. Yeah.
How about some positive stats as well?
Jeez, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
And another thing that I've noticed on the spreadsheets that they put up, they got unknown vaccination records. Well, you vaccinated or you're not? What's unknown? What does that mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. What, they don't know if they've had it or not? I don't get it.
I thought it's all linked up to the same system.
Well, you're either vaccinated or you're not vaccinated. It's pretty simple.
That's right. Yeah, I agree. How do you not know that information?
I don't know. I keep seeing it every day, and I keep seeing all these comments on Facebook. What's this unknown vax? Are they vaxxed or they're not? It's pretty straightforward.
It's like the person that's entering the data into those Excel spreadsheets is probably like a truck driver that drives between Adelaide to Perth along the Nullarbor.
Exactly.
So they've just got this guy because they're short staff. Hey mate, can you help us out with a few spreadsheets? Yeah. He's probably multitasking on the way to Perth, just on his tablet, helping SA Health and doing 2 jobs at once, entering a couple of numbers.
Yeah, it's there. As I said before, there's a lot of holes in a lot of things, and in the testing, in the results, in the answers.
And now, obviously, for those that are COVID positive, no communication whatsoever. And that's concerning because, put it this way, Anton, I am very confident in my ability, my body's ability to recover from it, similar to how you've recovered from it. Clearly, not on paper you've recovered from it yet, but you're on the mend and you're pretty much near thereabouts, back to where you were. I'm confident that I'll go through the same process you have, but I think still if I ever get that message, and I think it's inevitable, I think we're all going to get it at some point. When I do get the message, should I say, I'm still going to be a little bit nervous, and I think it'd be really comforting that the government gives you a bit more information rather than just saying, oh, you've tested positive, which means you have COVID-19. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock, of course. It would be more comforting to, all right, I understand they can't call everyone because obviously they're getting 2,000 a day. It's a lot. But how about like another follow-up email or text message in 24 hours later saying, all right, it's been 24 hours since your positive result. If your symptoms have gotten worse or have they gotten better, I can understand the questionnaire part, fill that out. But just touching base with you and then giving you an information pack to say, this is what the next phase of COVID positive looks like. This is what the next 10 days looks like. Something like that. And you've got nothing. And your mates that have been positive for 3, 4, 5 days since their result got nothing either.
Nothing. And luckily for me, I live with people. There are a lot of people who are getting this who live by themselves.
Yeah.
10 days, especially when if you recover as quick as I have, the next 6 days, if you live by yourself and you're healthy, that's very difficult to stare at a wall the whole time.
Bloody oath.
And you know what I mean? With zero communication from anyone, that's very hard on a lot of people. And a lot of people will have severe problems being 10 days in their own head.
Well, you look at the physical health implications of COVID-19 because obviously if you have underlying conditions, you can get a lot worse than what you copped. But then these isolation rules, these quarantine rules, how about the status of people's mental health and the ramifications on that? Because mental health is a silent killer. It's a silent disease, really.
They will be massive.
Yep.
I'm telling you that, and them stats won't be recorded. Oh, they died of COVID.
Yeah.
Nah. They died because they're in isolation and they're staring at a fucking wall because they hate themselves.
Yep.
And they've gone and fucking...
Do you know what they're starting to say now? They're not starting to say, like, especially with a lot of deaths that are occurring around the country and internationally, it's not they died from COVID. They're now reporting they've died with COVID. just
With
to add
COVID.
that COVID in there. Even if someone died
Exactly.
of a heart attack just because they tested COVID positive, doesn't mean they
Yeah.
died from COVID. They're just saying died with COVID. So guess what? It's another tick for the death box.
Just another stat. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's the key word with.
Yeah, and I heard today, and again, I don't know how true this is, but I heard on a podcast in America, and I know we're not in America, but in America, there are incentives for people that die with COVID. The hospitals are getting incentives for people that die with COVID, like $3,000 per person that comes in that hospital that died of COVID.
Yep, it is. That's true.
That's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, correct.
They are tested, like people are coming in died from a heart attack. Right? Testing these people, swabbing these people, tested as COVID positive. That's another $3,000. Thank you very much. They didn't even die from COVID.
And probably a COVID death, according to the records.
Yeah. And just another, there's another person that died from COVID. Like that baby the other day. And obviously that is horrendous news.
Of course.
Did it die
Shocking.
from COVID? Did it die from COVID? No one
died with COVID, by the way.
It died with COVID. Yeah, it had COVID, but did it die from COVID? No one knows. But the media only told you, the baby tested positive to COVID and now it died.
Yeah, and that's really upsetting news to hear a 2-year-old actually not only dying, first and foremost, and condolences to the family, but, for a 2-year-old to get COVID too, that's a little bit concerning as well. Like, because the data a year ago was, it's most adults can get it. The kids will be fine. Now it's starting to come out. Kids can get it. Now fucking 12 and overs have to get vaxxed. Now they're starting to push this agenda that the 5 and overs again they might have to start getting vaxxed. And now, really, I wonder I know teachers have got mandates here in South Australia. I wonder what's going to happen with students going forward. And you know what?
Well,
it's just stopping there, Anton. But for example, we both play Australian rules football. Greatest sport in the world, mind you. But obviously we just play amateur league, right? So it's not semi-professional, it's not professional, even though we probably could play at those high levels. We choose not to. I wonder if they're going to mandate that. I know it's a community sport, but AFL has, SANFL has. It usually, we follow the trends, don't we?
Well, that's a very good question, actually. Will it get to the stage where you now have to be vaxxed to play sport? You now have to be vaxxed to go to school. These are all topics that because Australia's so because Australia's so far behind, we're pretty much following whatever Europe's doing, and Europe is going back into lockdown, man.
Yeah, their cases are soaring.
Back into lockdown.
We need to look more into those cases and obviously the recovery rates, hospitalizations and deaths.
The deaths is what we need to look into. Cases, they're always going to fucking soar. Every single new variant, it's just going to go through us like hot curry. Yep. But how many people are dying is what the problem is.
When they say it goes through like hot curry, what happens to like the Indians, the Pakistanis, and the Sri Lankans? Do you reckon it just stays with them for a bit? Like they just digest it normally?
You're a fucking tripper.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know. Now that I've got it, I've got so many questions. Many questions. And SA Health can't even give me answers, which is funny.
Well, it's funny because I don't think many health professionals can probably give you that answer. A, because they got no fucking idea.
They got no idea.
And B, I think they're still learning for the most part. Like, obviously, it's still new to everyone, and obviously these variants keep changing all the time. So the goalposts keep moving. But how can you give advice when you don't fully understand everything? It's okay, to lock down, restrict, isolate, right? And all these things, and contact trace and force mandates and force people to take vaccines, which have proven effectiveness. Let's not lie here. Like, there is science studies to show that there is effectiveness with vaccinations, but they're not foolproof. Nothing is. So how can they give advice at one end of the stick, but yet they're still, when you obviously got questions about the other end, they got no information and they can't give you any more advice.
Like, how can they give you advice when they don't know themselves? I don't understand.
That's right.
It doesn't make any sense. And as you said, when you ask questions back, they go, I don't know. What do you mean? You're supposed to be the health professional. If you don't know, how the fuck am I going to know?
I agree. It's like the inventor of the car, right? It was all well and good, made the engine. Everyone put some wheels on it. Everyone thought he was a genius.
This is great.
Few of them went on a joyride. Lovely. Yep. Oh, I want to be part of the inaugural cruise with this car. When they got in the car, they realized, fuck, we've got to invent brakes. Bang, crash, right?
Bang.
It's exactly what's happening now. They're inventing this vaccine, whatever. But once someone's got COVID, right? I'm guessing they're working on treatments and stuff. But why aren't they, I guess, publicized? I mean, there's like obviously Joe Rogan's a pretty popular podcaster, and he's talked about ivermectin and a few other of these chemicals that he's injected and consumed, and a bit of a concoction, and he's recovered from it. But obviously, he's a celebrity, bit more wealth than a lot of the rest of us. Well, not just a bit, but a lot more. But anyway, why aren't these treatments being publicized as well? Saying, look, if you get COVID, don't stress so much. We have some treatment options for you. Don't fucking push the vaccines, because guess what? We still might get it. I know it reduces the chances of me going to hospital. I know it reduces the chances of me potentially getting it or spreading it. But if I do get it, which is probably inevitable, give me some reassurance as to what you're going to do when I do get it. Exactly. Have the fucking government told you, just go to Woolies and take some cold and flu? Well, guess what? You can't go to Woolies. Someone has to go for you. So you're lucky you've got some housemates and family to go and do it for you.
Exactly.
But tell you what to do and what to take when you actually have it. That's the concern part.
They haven't at all. Nothing. They haven't recommended doing this, recommended doing that. Although, you know what they've said? Isolate for 10 days. You'll be right.
That's it.
Oh, okay. And if I'm not, what do I do then?
So they're making such a big deal. It's a fucking worldwide pandemic, right? Keep your distance, minimum 15 minutes in close contact settings. Make sure your QR code, get the vaccination, making sure you link it up with your MyGov, all this shit, so you can show proof of vaccinations. But then when you get it, just stay home for 10 days.
Yeah, when you get it, 10 days. They don't even tell you that. They tell you that on the news. If you don't watch the news, you don't actually know how long you're supposed to stay for. You got no idea because no one contacts you.
And the news changes its fucking stories every 3 days as well.
Exactly. And so does the government. Literally, we've changed the close contact period and the stay-at-home period 3 times this week. How the fuck can you do that in a pandemic that we've got?
I know. It's crazy. Yeah. What have you been doing the last few days? Like, obviously, the first few you would have been a bit more bedridden, gone in and out of sleeps and naps and stuff. But obviously, you've now got a few more. How many more days you got to go? It's 10 days since your date of positive test, isn't it, or not?
So I'm not out. No. So 10 days from your test day. So I'm not out till next Saturday midnight. I finish. So next Sunday I'm not out.
So really, if clubs and pubs are open after midnight, at 12:01 you can go to the V Hotel.
12:01. Yep. But 11:59 I'm not allowed.
but like 12:01 you can go to the V Hotel, and really for someone that has never got COVID, you think to yourself, not sure about that, eh?
I know, I'm not. Look, Virginia's a very small community. I'm sure there are a fair few people that would know if I walked into the hotel, a fair few people would be like, oh, fuck, he had COVID.
Yeah.
Because I know I would. If
100%.
Say you walked in and I was on the other side, I'd be like, fuck. Like, well, I guess kind of jokish, but also kind of being like, fuck off.
And usually if I'd ever see you, I'd shake your hand, say hello, have a chat for a few minutes. Even if we weren't there together, you'd have a chat.
Exactly.
It's like if you have people that you have the same relationship with, they're going to probably feel awkward, maybe not coming up to you or speaking to you from far. Yeah, it's going to be weird.
It is. It's 100%. I totally agree. And I'm very interested to see when I go and be social again or even go back to work, what people are like.
Yeah.
I want to know if they're standoffish. Are they worried about, like, am I still infectious? Who knows? I don't know.
They should give you a sticker or something, like with a green tick saying I'm cleared or something. Honestly, because it might just give people a bit more peace of mind.
I've got a good idea. They should make you go get tested again.
Yeah.
And come back with a negative. There you go.
That's simple.
Wouldn't that solve heaps of people's, like, just peace of mind? I mean, I'm sure you can. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure you can. But the fact that they're not driving it, going, on day 9, can you please go get, or even day 8, whatever.
Yep.
Can you please go get tested? It's just to make sure you're a negative, and off you go. Do whatever you want.
And your proof of vaccination or your check-in application, where it can tell you if you've been vaxxed or not, instead of a green tick because you've recovered from COVID, it could give you like a blue tick, but it's still a tick, just to say, all right, you're a little bit different. But I mean, you're still vaccinated, but you're good to go.
Yeah. I don't know.
So what have you been doing? Bunch of Netflix,
honestly,
TV shows?
I've been watching replays of the footy.
All right.
There's honestly, you know what I have been doing, and you know what I think is a big help? Seeing the sun, man. Laying in the sun.
Bit of sun tanning.
Like you would if you had the cold. You'd go lay in the sun and like take your drugs, like take your cold and flu, whatever. Go lay in the sun, drink plenty of water. The same treat. I'm telling you now, Terry, the same treatment that I would have done 4 years ago is what I've done 2 days ago.
And you know what? It's a tried and tested method of recovery.
Exactly.
It worked for our grandparents, worked for our parents, it worked for you in the past before the pandemic, and it's worked again.
And it's worked now. And again, I would be very interested to see someone who's not vaxxed get it, which I'm kind of hoping my housemate does get it because he's not. I just want to see how it goes. But it's been the same treatment for years.
And obviously your housemate, you're sort of comparing that. It'll be a good comparison too, because I'm sure he's active, workout, he exercises, eats healthy, similar to you. So it'd be a really good comparison.
It would. And I'd actually, look, obviously, God forbid if nothing happens, but I would love to see him get it just to see what it's like. Because if it's the same, well, what's the point of the vax?
Yeah, and you know what? That's better evidence than a bloody study, that's for sure, because you can see it with your own eyes.
Putting one person here, one non-vax, one vaxxed, both get it, see how they both recover.
Yep. Because so basically you spend a lot of your time just outside, seeing some sun, obviously with good weather as well, cranking the tunes, I'm guessing, or scrolling the news feeds, just doing random shit like that.
Today was generally a normal day in my life, except I can't leave my house.
Yep. Obviously, there's a bit of a trend going around as well, tanning your ball bags, perennial sunning, whatever it's called. You've been doing that?
Mate, my balls are pretty tanned already, I tell you.
Oh, there you go. Must be all that friction burn. But apparently, I don't know if that's helped your vitamin D absorption.
Well, it's helped. My housemate does sun his balls quite regularly, and he reckons he's healthy as Larry, man. So I don't know. Maybe it's got some sort of correlation. I don't know.
There you go. Interesting.
There you go.
But I mean, vitamin D is pretty important because, I mean, imagine you're locked into your house for 10 days. Is that another ploy for them to just keep you sicker for longer? Because if you see no sun, imagine you didn't, obviously you got a proper house with a backyard and a front yard. Imagine you lived in an apartment with a balcony that never sees sun.
Exactly. And you're locked in, and they're the type of people that need to be contacted regularly, saying, "Hey, are you okay? Hey, are you not a survey that I can write absolutely anything on?"
Yeah, exactly.
Or not reply. There's another one. I don't have to reply to it.
Yep.
And again, I do get that they can't keep up with everyone, but I mean, I know now 6 people. Well, I'm the 5th. Sorry, I know 5 people that have had it. Not one of us has been contacted. So,
and how are those rest of those people that have tested positive to this Boxing Day extravaganza? How are they going right now?
Well, all of us now are fine. And the bloke that got tested positive 3 days before me, he was pretty much fine when I was not good.
Okay.
So really, all of us pretty much, it's like a 3-day period, I would say.
Yep.
Where we're no good, but not no good like shocking. No good as in like I was. Probably me and another guy were probably the worst. But some of them were, and all of us had the symptoms, mind you.
Yep.
And some of them were just over it in 3 days, pretty much. All of us pretty much 3 days, and you're fine. And now we're looking at 7 more days of sitting around.
Yeah. Did they tell you if it was Omicron or not?
No, they don't tell you nothing.
See, that'd be interesting too, because obviously the early preliminary studies that are out there saying that Omicron's easier to get, but not as detrimental to your health.
Yeah.
So I wonder what would happen if someone got Delta. Well, obviously all
Delta.
of you would have got the same strain, but say you got Delta, what would have happened?
Again,
but
yeah.
then
Well, that's a whole nother point. And now, can I now get whatever one I didn't catch? Who knows?
Good point. Great point. Yep.
Who knows?
Who knows?
In a week's time, say in a week, I don't know, maybe not. Well, make that 2 weeks. I'll go out for a drink and someone's got Delta. Say I caught Omicron this time. Someone's got Delta. Can I now catch that?
Yeah.
Do they tell you these things? No.
But when does this end? When we get to when we get to the Arabic alphabet?
well, when does it end?
Because it's going to keep changing. Back in the day,
100%.
when I first started going to work, like at the work I'm at currently, they offered free flu shots, right? And the nurse came to our office. Literally, I thought to myself, oh yeah, get out of work for 10 minutes, beautiful, get a free lollipop at the end. So for 3 or 4 consecutive years in a row, I was getting the flu shot. And I kept my proof of vaccination of the flu. Like, she just gave me a little folded card. She put a sticker on there to say what I got. And I kept that in my cupboard. And funnily enough, I just kept that. And every year I just gave it to her. She goes, oh, I'm surprised you kept it. I said, well, it's in my drawer. I go, this is what it's for, isn't it? It was pretty much the old school bloody vaccine passports. And then once I got the 4th one, I actually paid attention. Every fucking thing, every new jab I got every year was different. And pretty much like that meant, and then I asked, the 3rd year I noticed it. Then the 4th time I said, how come you keep giving me different ones? She's like, every season of the flu, there's a new strain. So we're just trying to fight off and protect you against the common one that's gonna come about.
Exactly. So when does this finish?
So after, say, the 3rd booster, by the time I'm about to get my 3rd booster, which is in another 3 months' time, actually it might be less. It's probably because of the whole 4 months now that they've restricted it. So it's less than 3 months. If I know that there's going to be a 4th one before I get my 3rd one, I'm going to question the whole thing, being like, when does it fucking end?
So exactly, and that's what so many people are saying. Well, what are we going to have? Our 68th booster in 5 years' time? Oh, you're now due for your 90th booster.
Yep.
Well, so when I'm 65, am I due for my 4,000th booster? What I mean? When does it go? Oh, well, like we're just going to live with it now. And if you want to get it, you want to get it. Like, is it just going to be booster? Your arm's going to run out of fucking room to jab, man. And mind you, that's 3 a year. Every 4 months is 3 a year. It's not 1 a year. 3 a year is a lot, man. That's a lot.
Fucking imagine having shares in Pfizer or any of these Johnson & Johnson and all that before the pandemic started, mate. It's probably probably all the governments did, mate. They bought shares in it. Now they're promoting. Yeah, you need to get all these shots. I bet you they do. I bet you they do work. But there's been some brown paper bags under the tables to say push this product, push that product, and keep pushing it because you're going to be making a lot of money out of it.
And to be honest, before this, I was like, yeah, the government know what they're doing. Like, they're the government. They make the rules. They got no fucking idea, man. Right now, they have no idea. And don't get me wrong, yeah, they're working hard and whatever, but they got no clue what's going on. No,
because the landscape keeps changing every day.
Every fucking day it changes.
Yeah.
So how can you get that back to our point again? How can you give me advice when you don't fucking know?
That's right.
Doesn't make any sense.
Or you don't know what to do next. They might know one day ahead of you, so they're one day ahead, but they don't know what's going to happen the day after that.
The day after that. No.
Yeah.
So when does it get to a point where we just go, you know what? These are the rules. They're set in stone. We're just going to live with it. Follow them rules. We're going to live with the rest. It is what it is. When does it get to that stage?
It could be as simple as this. If you go international, like everyone wants to go overseas and, have summers in Europe and go see the snow in fucking Aspen or wherever you want to go, right? I believe, when it comes to international travel, obviously we're during a pandemic, so obviously we've got to have a bit more caution and concern. How about just before you leave, test, and on the way back, get a test? That's it. What more can you fucking do?
I totally agree with that.
Travel being negative, and on the way back, maybe make sure you're negative and you arrive negative. That's it. What else can you bloody do, mate?
I totally agree. if you want to travel right now, I still believe you should get a test before you have to leave.
Yep.
Or you come back.
That's it.
Whatever you do in the meantime, whatever the fuck you want to do, man.
I know.
But if you want to travel and go to other people's states and stuff, then you should have to fucking be tested.
Yep. And then when it comes to, like, I understand hospitals are high-risk settings here. That's a harder one to police. PCR tests, well, we've seen with you, first case scenario that basically you were positive going into that test before you even had the test. You knew you were positive and took you 56 hours. Well, imagine like your missus was about to give birth and, like, say you weren't jabbed. You're not allowed to go in the hospital currently as we speak here in South Australia. But you were jabbed, and, like, say they wanted that extra peace of mind. How do we go about doing that? Well, I think we've just got to sometimes fucking bite the bullet and just be like, well, if you're vaxxed, maybe that's good enough. And if you're not, well, rapid antigen test, mate, and you're good to go. We've got to have some sort of credibility here.
There needs to be some sort of, at the moment, I believe anyway, there's still no pathway out of this. Still none. We're not living with it at all. I
hope they've got their fucking yellow legal pads and they're drafting something, mate, for this pathway out of it. Well, there was a pathway out of it, Anton. It was a genius pathway, the 80%. Then it changed to 90. Then it changed to not only 16 and overs, but now 12 and over 90. So that's our pathway. And we're just about to get there, but now they've put these restrictions into the 27th of January. So it's like, is that our pathway out of it after the 27th of January, once we've hit 90+% vaccinated, 12 and over? Should it all be open then after?
Yeah, exactly.
Standing up consumption, dancing, traveling wherever I want to go, not worrying to have to fucking do this or that. Anything special, should be able to do whatever I want.
Yeah, and then when 27th of January arrives, they'll find another way to put it back again.
Just extend it for another month.
Yep, and then I don't know.
And you know why they've chosen the 27th of January. You know what the day before of that is?
Australia Day.
Yeah, of course they've set the 27th. Yeah.
Money.
And usually like on Australia Day, either the night before the public holiday or on the public holiday, a lot of pubs and clubs make a fucking shitload of money. People go out, they know they don't have to work. Hospitality loves this time of year because not only here in Australia, it's summer, which usually people go out a lot more, but also fucking it's a public holiday too. And I just feel so much for those in the hospitality industry. They've just been toyed with in the last 2 years. Do this one day, then it finally starts opening up, then it goes back. Well, how can you plan for the future in those types of industries?
You can't. Imagine planning a wedding at the moment, Terry. You were told for so long that on the 26th or 27th of December, you were allowed to stand up and drink. Your wedding was on the 29th. Beautiful. We're going to have a great time. 28th comes. Nah, we're moving it back.
Yeah.
You're just throwing your whole, and you're being, what's the word? Bloody
restricted.
Capacity. Restricted to 25%.
Yeah.
So you've not only got to not invite people that you wanted, you now have to sit down. You've just planned the most important day of your life.
Yes.
Based on what you've been told by the professionals.
Yeah.
To only be thrown it in your face 3 days before. Yeah,
so restaurants and cafes and all that, 25% density, 25%
capacity.
But then it's okay for Adelaide Oval to have 25,000 on New Year's Eve at the cricket. And before the match started, 4 players of the opposition tested positive. And anywhere around the world, soccer, rugby, other forms of cricket, if there's been players in either side in the camps that have tested positive, players, because they're the ones playing on the field, they've postponed the fixture. But because this is the marquee New Year's Eve clash, they let it go ahead. And 25,000 people can go there.
Because they made so much money. But you walk into your house and you've got 11. Oh, no. Quick. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. $5,000 per person. But they're sitting outside. The 11 people are sitting outside. But the 25,000, it's all good. No drama.
Yeah, what about those corporate boxes? There could be 500 people out of that 25,000 in corporate boxes.
Oh, but we'll shut a blind eye to that because we're making money off that, so it's all good.
Yeah. So so hypothetically, if you went to the cricket that night on New Year's Eve, you could go to O'Connell Street, right? Go to the North Adelaide Burger Bar, or some people call it the Red and White Cafe, have an AB. You have to get takeaway because indoor seating is full with a 25% capacity. Outdoor, I believe, is 50%.
Yeah, it is.
There's no room, so you have to quickly get it and go, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you can, as you're walking to the cricket, so you couldn't even sit down where there's so much room in that cafe because it's only 25 seat. But then when you go to the cricket, there's 25,000 people there.
And you wonder why people are pissed off. You
Yeah.
wonder why business owners are furious. You wonder why business owners turn around going, you know what, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want to do. Find me, I don't care.
Exactly.
How are you supposed to make money when it's 25%, but you can take it away to the footy or the cricket? And trust me, I love my sport.
Yep.
But you can't take it to the cricket and sit with random Steve as you don't even know, but you can't sit next to your wife and stand up with her and have a drink with her because you're going to give her COVID. Oh,
and random Steve-O spills half his beer on you.
And he's coughing and spluttering and, naming it because he doesn't give a fuck about COVID.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
But you know what? But you've got the peace of mind that he's vaxxed because only vaxxed people can go to Adelaide Oval now. Yeah, I think they just try to say to you in that respect, because they're all vaxxed, we can give the 25,000 people capacity at the cricket. We don't have to worry about any restrictions in regards to that because it's a COVID-safe environment.
But you can still spread it. But you can still catch it. But you can still have it.
That's right. Yeah, the way out, mate, it's scary. Like, I think now getting COVID is pretty worrisome for those that have never experienced it before. And I'm going to get pretty nervous too if I ever get it, or I think it's more so when I'm going to get it. I'm going to get nervous and a bit scared. But then it's a bit more peace of mind knowing that there's people now I know that have copped it, had some bad symptoms for a couple of days, but then recovered from it. And obviously, probably good for you as well, knowing that you knew someone had it before you did, and they had some symptoms when you knew they started feeling better by the time you started feeling bad. So they must have given you some peace of mind saying, it's only going to be for a few days and then hopefully I should get better.
Don't get me wrong. I was very nervous. Even when I knew I had it, I was very nervous as I didn't know what was happening.
Yep.
But looking back on it now, I'm just thinking, well, that was just pretty much a bad cold.
That's the last thing you need to feel is anxious and nervous because your body's trying to fight off an infection. And then the media, the government, the public have scared you into this thing saying it's so damn bad. It's not, it's so bad. It's not even funny. That's the last thing you need. It's like it's like a bit of fear mongering as well. Like, and that probably makes you even more sick because, those, the feelings of anxiousness and fear can obviously accumulate along with what all those other symptoms that you've copped. And that probably makes you worse. Gives you a bad mental state of mind. Then your body's trying to figure out what the fuck are these spike proteins doing here? Let's kill them.
Exactly.
Your body's in all sorts. And at the same time, you're recovering from trying to scull 30 guava cruises a couple of days before that.
And that was hard work, mate. But it's like say you go skydiving.
Yep.
And the whole way up there, your instructor's going, well, you could die. Like, hopefully we've got our thing attached. We're probably going to die. Like, who knows? We might die. The only word you've heard at the top is dying. And you're like, fuck. Do you really want it? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Not for years. Well, I mean, years now, really. We've been told how deadly this is. We've been told, you need to do this. Like, this is so scary, rah, rah, rah. And then you get it and you're like, fuck was that? Is that it?
Yeah, I know.
It's a very, very interesting time. And the fact that, I mean, we're having a 2-hour conversation about it and we're yet to figure out a way out and no one around me knows a way out. The fucking people in charge don't even know a way out because they're changing the rules every day. Is even more scary. How long does this shit go for?
But it's more scary that the people that we've put into those positions, we've elected these cunts to get into these positions. Don't mind my French and part of my French there, but we've elected these guys into these positions. These are the gurus in these particular fields, and yet they don't bloody know.
And they got no idea, none.
So
the health minister of South Australia has no idea of a way out. 2 years into it.
Can I just finish off by saying how you think this all started? Do you reckon this is from someone eating a bad bat at a seafood market in Wuhan, or do you reckon it's a lab leak? Do you think it's a bioweapon from the Chinese? What's your theory on it?
I don't believe in this bat bullshit.
Yep.
I reckon it's not a man-made virus, I don't think, but I think it is a virus. Actually, yeah. I reckon it was a virus that got out, and they were like, "Oh fuck, what do we do now?" Because we know how bad this is, and how potentially bad it could be. Fucking turns out it's a worldwide fucking pandemic, and they didn't know how to deal with it. People were like, I've watched this podcast that they were burning down hydrochloric. What's it called? Hydrochloroquine.
Yeah, hydrochloroquine. Yeah.
They were told that it was like it'll fix people quicker, and then all of a sudden the next day the plant burnt down.
Hydroxychloroquine, by the way.
That's the one.
And they were burning those factories down that make it.
All of a sudden the factory burnt down. Oh, just coincidentally, really? The factory burnt down. I think it was like 2 days after it got announced that it could possibly help this virus as a pre-treatment. Like, it's just things not adding up.
Yeah, and in regards to those that aren't vaccinated, I have a feeling, and I've got a lot of mates that haven't got it, and they're not anti-vax, they're just anti the COVID vax, because of course when they were born they got their vaccinations. Some of them have got kids, and when their kids were born they got them vaccinated with all those usual polio, mumps, whooping cough, whatever they get. They're just anti the COVID. And I think, and I'm just presuming, some of them have said it from their mouth, and for the most part it's because of the mandates. They don't want to be forced to take something. And I believe, once again, it's not, this pandemic won't end when everyone's vaccinated. This pandemic will end when everyone's copped it and gotten
exactly. That's why I totally agree with you. And I don't know many people that are anti-vax. I know many people that are anti-mandate. Many.
Yeah. 100%. I think a lot of people that are vaxxed are anti-mandate as well.
Everyone's got the fucking flu vax. Everyone's had the flu vax in their life. Everyone's had. When they were babies, everyone had to have it. They're not anti-vax. They're anti-mandate. You can't mandate people to get things if they don't want to. And then you can't take away their rights. That doesn't make any sense.
I agree.
If they want to get it, they'll go get it. If they don't want to get it, they won't get it. Simple as that.
And there's got to be education on when you get it or when you don't get it. Like publications out there saying, if you get it, you feel bad on jab 2. But if you don't get it, you're increasing your likelihood of potentially going to hospital, all this. So just people are aware of if you get it versus if you don't get it, what can happen either way.
And there's nothing
like that. It's just get it. They're like, and the constant messaging is, I urge you to go and get your vaccination.
For what? So I can get it and what? No one's ever, not one media person has said, when you get it, this is what you need to do to help you. It's get the vax so we can prevent the spread, but we're not preventing the spread. It's actually worse.
It's like chopping off a finger and trying to patch it up with a Band-Aid.
It's not going to happen.
No. Well, you can try, but it ain't going to fucking work.
Exactly. You're very true. I think, personally, the only way this will stop is when 90% have got it.
Yeah.
And then it will just eventually stop fucking spreading. Surely.
Yep.
Again, I know, but surely.
And it'd be nice if there's more studies out there to prove, like, if two people of the same lifestyle both got it, similar of age, one vaxxed, one not vaxxed, and just to see the differences. It is proven, I don't know how the fuck they do it, these labs, to say, it has some efficacy out there that being vaccinated will reduce your chances of such and such. But I mean, you just want a bit more information, I suppose, just to see.
For sure.
Because I think it gets to a point where, yeah, I mean, vaccinations are all well and good, and it is proven that they work to an extent. And for some people, they work a lot more. Maybe for us, that it's like putting fucking salt water in our blood, does nothing. Who knows?
Does nothing. Yeah.
But now I'd like to see them focusing on, all right, not just pushing the vaccines, but pushing treatments if people get COVID really bad, and giving people a way out, but also actually just having a way out. How do we get out of all of this?
Yeah, no, you're right. And the fact that we're 2 years in and still no idea how we're getting out of this is that's probably the scariest part for me.
Concerning.
We can't. These years, I know this is cliche, but these years, the 20s and the 30s, are supposed to be the best years of your life.
We just wasted 2 of them.
I haven't done anything for 2 years.
We've wasted 2 of them.
And I can't see me doing anything this one either, to be honest. I don't see us being able to travel overseas this year. I see. You can, but you can't do anything when you're there, and then you struggle to get back into the country. So,
well, put it this way: imagine you were 17 at the start of the pandemic, just turned 18. You haven't experienced a good night out in town. You haven't even been able to stand up to have a drink with the boys, mate. Can't even cheers standing up at the bar. Be like, nah, sorry, you got to sit down actually to do that. And by the way, where's your masks? Because you can't drink here. And
but go sit over there and you can sit down and drink. But over here, you can't sit down and stand up. And fuck off.
Now,
unbelievable, Terry. Unbelievable.
Your first kiss at a nightclub. You know the way some of these next generation are getting educated. Probably asking chicks, "Can I see your proof of vaccination, or are you vaxxed?" Because I'm not sure if I should kiss you or not. Like,
it's so much a conversation. Like when you go out, you try so hard not to talk about it, but it's the first thing you talk about.
Every dinner party, wedding,
everywhere,
New Year's party, Christmas party that I've been to, it comes up in conversation all the time.
We've got a group chat and there's 12 blokes in it, and we talk about it every single day, without fail. And half the time we don't even know what we're talking about. It's just like, oh, did you hear about this stat, or did you hear this, or did you?
How many links are getting shared into that?
Oh,
yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? I'm in group chats as well, where I would say every 4 messages is another link or a YouTube video, or a podcast episode. It's crazy.
100%. Every single day, there's something else. Oh, it's just. I mean, you can't even say it's annoying anymore because it's just become a part of life now.
And, social media, especially Facebook, it's getting a bit more beyond the joke, because I reckon every 5 or 6 items that are popping up is either a news page or just some fucking ridiculous statistic. Whether it's for or against the vax, I don't care, because I'm just sick of COVID at the moment. And I choose not to talk about it. I'm in a group chat where I hardly message in it anymore, because all the boys can say what they want. They're entitled to their opinion, but I've just had enough of it. Like, I just don't want to talk about it. The moment they bring up another topic about, have a look at this chick's big tits or something like that, I'm all for it, right? Or if they want to talk about Arsenal's Arsenal getting robbed last night, I'll talk about it. But when it comes to COVID, I've had enough. Yeah. We're talking about it now because this is new information for me. This is a new space for you. Especially a lot of people in South Australia. We're all starting to sort of learn about what it's like to have COVID in the community, because it is here. So it's new for us. But then, and this is insightful knowledge. And to be honest with you, I value your information and what you're telling me more than a lot of other studies out there, because I'm seeing it firsthand right here.
And as a real person, not. For all I know, I mean, I understand there's scientific studies, but for all I know, that scientific study's gone through the news, gone through the government, and the government's actually said, no, you're going to say this. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. But I'm not telling you false information right now. I'm telling you the truth.
That's right.
What's happened, exactly how I've felt, what I've done, everything. I haven't said one lie. Who knows what they're telling you? No one knows.
And that's the most important part here, is that you've been open, honest, and transparent throughout this whole chat, throughout this whole conversation, 2 hours and 18 odd minutes. And thank you for your time, by the way.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So sorry for disrupting you from your busy schedule, where you could be tanning
I'm
your
doing
balls or watching flat out. Any shows you can recommend to us?
I've honestly I've been falling asleep half the time, man.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm that bored. Like it's just fuck. And the fact that I've got 7 more days of this, oh my god. Oh my god. Especially because I feel healthy now.
You got PlayStation or something?
No.
Fuck.
Actually, no, I sold it.
Jeez.
Yeah, the worst. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do in the next 7 days, but
maybe you can make $10 into 10 grand in the crypto market.
I might have to find some sort of bloody I don't even know.
Actually, the fourth test starts tomorrow. That'll be all right.
No, it doesn't. It starts on the 5th, which I hate also.
Oh, shit. Doesn't start tomorrow.
Nah. Also, that's another topic. Tell me when we were younger, it didn't start on the 2nd all the time. Did it not?
I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. Well, now it starts on the 5th, and I'm not happy about it.
Who knows? It's probably COVID there too, but because, sport, obviously, so much money involved and all these fans have paid their tickets, they can't afford to close and cancel fucking sports.
Well, I mean, there is COVID. They had a COVID scare in the England camp on day 3 of the test. They still run the test half an hour later.
And the funny thing is, because test cricket's over 5 days, what happens if someone tests positive on, say, day 2 or 3 or 4? They have to keep it going, don't they?
Exactly.
Or is there like sub rules now?
I don't know, Terry. I don't know what to tell you.
Anton, thank you very, very much for taking your time and obviously being fit and healthy enough, which is a positive thing. It's a good thing that you're able to actually do this. And it's only been, 4 days since you've gotten tested or since you've actually thought that you've had it. And for you to have and have the ability to conduct a, nearly 2.5 hour podcast, that's a really good sign. So all the best in your recovery. Hopefully it goes pretty quick those next 7 days and the recovery process improves day in, day out. Once again, thank you. And I've just checked. Your Instagram handle is just Anton Pogas, no 12. I don't know where you got the 12 from.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So I'll put that in the show notes. So thank you once again for your time. And if anyone wants to see a day in the life of Anton Pogas, I'm sure you'll probably be getting pretty bored and chucking a few stories here and there. You can suss out not only his photo reel and potentially some photos of those Boxing Day shenanigans up there, but by all means.
Thank you very much. And I hope I was insightful to the real side of COVID because, look, to be honest, mate, it's not as deadly as they tell you.
That's right. Yep, we'll leave on that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate.
Good night.
Have a good night, Pogue. Catch ya.
Ciao.